Now it's time to awkwardly dance as I wait for YouTube to start it up. It's time to awkwardly dance as I wait for YouTube to start up. It's time. All right, everybody. Well, hey, good evening and welcome to the garage. I don't know if we're officially calling it the garage of tomorrow or not, but yeah, we're here. We actually started on time for once, and it's really great to have you all here. I know that tonight is most certainly not the usual in terms of what you would be expecting for a stream time to be at, but of course, that's kind of how it goes with what we're running here tonight. So I'm kind of running on the fly, and I just figured this is a bonus stream. Those of you who know me know that I work at Griffith Observatory. I was supposed to be up there working this weekend. We ended up closing to the public this weekend, unfortunately, and yeah. So I said, oh, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and do a bonus stream with that there? So here you all are. So I'm very glad to have you all here, either late this evening or early this morning or midday, no matter where you may be. There is some time happening where you are. And if you don't know who I am, if you're just joining up and you're like, who's this numbskull in front of the screen? My name is Jared Head. I'm one of the co-hosts of Tomorrow, youtube.com/TMRO. And we are a spaceflight show. We do these live shows every Friday night at, oh my gosh, putting me UTC on the spot. I'm very sorry. Oh no. Now I'm looking really dumb in front of the internet, which is what I do anyhow, which is what Tomorrow has me do anyhow. 0100 UTC Saturday morning. That took a little while, didn't it? You think I know this stuff by now, but of course I don't. Usually I've got an ability to actually pull your chats up on the screen. There's like a little lower third graphic, but unfortunately today, that's not happening just because of some technology that's being worked on with Tomorrow and kind of the hammers and making the switches and everything with that. But I can still see the chat. I can absolutely still see the chat, and I can still see it there. So feel free to talk to me. That's what we're here to do, right? This is an Ask Me Almost Anything. Obviously, NDAs and ITAR means that there are certain things I can and cannot talk about. And there are things that I legitimately cannot talk about. And those are why this is an Ask Me Almost Anything instead of a Ask Me Anything or Ask Me Everything. So we can go ahead and get started kind of just with whatever y'all are feeling like talking about tonight, with some cool stuff. I see we got some pretty cool peeps in there. With Bennett Elder, glad to have you here. Rory, glad to have you here as well. Can I talk about Redacted? I cannot talk about Redacted. I'm not sure what Redacted is. So that's one of those things where I don't know. With that. So if it's redacted, I think it's redacted for a reason. So kind of hard for me to talk about redacted if I don't know what redacted is. But redacted has been redacted. Therefore, I don't know how to make a redacted with that. Yeah. So boy, it's off to a fantastic start with this evening. Also, just want to point out before I go any further, of course, the views and opinions expressed in this stream by myself they are mine alone, and better than yours. So please remember that. I'm not speaking for anybody here tonight other than myself with what I've got. And if you're wondering why is he wearing a jacket tonight, it's because I am in my garage, and it is 20:04 right now, or 8 p.m., just a little bit after 8 p.m. if you use that silly 12 number system. And I'm cold. And when I say I'm cold, I mean it is 63 degrees Fahrenheit in here, roughly about 17 degrees Celsius. So, which I know a lot of people would probably say, you big baby, but at the same time, I'm from Southern California. Therefore, this is very difficult, and the end times are upon us. Good to have you here, Miguel. Kind of asking, how did you get into this in the first place? Well, specify, Miguel, what would you like me to talk about specifically, how I got into this? Rory, it's 2 Celsius where you're at tonight. Oh, aren't you just going to run out in shorts? if you're used to it, I figure that's how it goes. Hey, Joe Bowden, good to have you on board this evening. I know, as I was telling a whole bunch of people, weird time, but I'm not at work, so I have time to actually do this. And I wanted to watch the Formula One race today and watch that live and not be bothered. I love you all, but I'd much rather watch the Formula One race with my folks that I do, and I was able to do that today. And wow, what a race! Ooh, slippers and warm coffee. That is a very good combination if it's cold outside, I gotta say. So let's start with Miguel and then we'll go to you, Rory. So Miguel's asking, was space a childhood interest that you pursued? So Miguel, I actually have a really interesting story, which is that I did not, I started in space and then I left it and I was like, I really don't want to do this anymore. And then I came right back into it. As I did with that there, so as a kid, obviously kids have their phase, right? They have their firefighter phase, they have their dinosaur phase, they have their space phase, and then usually kids go into something that's going to pay relatively well, I guess. That's their phase. And then there's people who stay in their space phase, and I was one of those kids that stayed in his space phase. And actually, I remember I was so into space because my parents were kind enough to basically grab anything that I was interested in and just go all in on it. So did I want to do like a painting class? Yeah, give him the painting class. What about dancing? Yeah, he wants to try dancing. Screw it. Let's go get him in a dance class. And is he going to be the only boy there? Sure. But who cares? He wants to try dancing. Go let him try it. That's basically how my parents were, which was really good. And I wish parents would do that. Kind of let your kids do what they want to do as opposed to what you wish you could have done. But ultimately, I got to do a lot of really cool things. Here in the Los Angeles area, which is where I've been born and raised, and I still am, I'm basically never going to leave Los Angeles. It's way too nice, especially as a out queer person. LA is a very ideal environment to be in. Not many other places you can be out and queer. And in general, not have people mess with you too badly with that. So here in LA, we have tons of places involved in aerospace, right? Well, one of those is NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory up in Pasadena. I literally am a 20-minute drive away from where it is. And the open houses that they would hold at JPL were very, how would I describe it? Well, I would go to them as a kid, right? And it's very profound when you get to see that stuff as a kid. It's very mind-blowing. I got to see Cassini with the full boom extended and everything in the spacecraft assembly room at JPL during an open house. And I got to sign my name as a kid, and they put it on a CD that was attached to Cassini. So I'm actually kind of happy that they did deorbit Cassini, because now aliens can't grab my signature and steal my identity in the future. The CD burned up with Cassini. Whew, close one. But getting to see things like that, like I remember being at JPL when they were showing off this new landing system that involved airbags. So we weren't actually going to plop the vehicle down like you regularly would. No, we're going to cut the tether at a certain altitude, and then we're going to let it bounce across the surface of Mars. And then it'll open up, and there's a little rover inside. It would be remiss of me to also not talk about my father as well. My mother was very much a driving force behind let him do these things. My dad was also a driving force as well, but simply because of watching what my dad did. He worked at Northrop Grumman on the B-2 and other stuff that he never told us about. That was very important as well, seeing my dad working on those things. And I loved space as a kid. And it continued until middle school, until I came under the same issue that so many other students in middle school have, which is mathematics. And math has never been my strongest suit. It was always the subject that I had my lowest grades in consistently. like even compared to science, the math that they would teach us to do our science portion of our classes with at that time was piece of cake, but put me in math, it's a little bit harder and it's really difficult. And now I know, because I have ADHD and bipolar disorder and other stuff like that, I've had that diagnosed. I now know, oh, that's why I wasn't good at it, because I have these problems that kind of inhibit me from learning particularly easily. But at that time, didn't understand that. Obviously, there's no way a 11-year-old has bipolar disorder. That was kind of the thinking back in that time period. I lost my interest, and theater came in, and I really got interested in theater. I really got interested in filmmaking. So I pursued that through middle school and high school, and that's kind of where I've gotten the public speaking skills from, the ability to actually hold a conversation with somebody, which is something that's really weird in science and engineering, and especially engineering. It's very difficult to hold conversations with people. I'm some sort of mystical unicorn, according to a multitude of people. I guess, I don't know. Please don't drink my blood. That's bad for you. I went into college and I was doing theater and I was doing filmmaking, and I finally got an opportunity to do some of the filmmaking, actually do filmmaking, work on sets, work on films. And I just really didn't care for the environment. The environment required me to know the right people. And I wasn't a big fan of that. And I'm still really not a big fan of that. I think talent is really important. Obviously, it is difficult systematically for some people, or systemically, that's a good word, systemically, because there are things that will hold people back, whether you want to believe it or not. I can assure you there are things that will hold certain people, especially people that don't look like me, back from things like aerospace and being able to pursue certain advanced degrees and other things like that. You can try to cover your eyes as much as you want to with it, but yeah, it's a thing, and it's unfortunate, and that's where I try to come in and try to help get rid of things like that. But I just kind of reached a point where I was like, man, I'm just tired of filmmaking, like, and acting. This is just, like, not only is this not working out, this is making me hate it, and I really don't want that to happen. So I said, okay, what was something else that I was really passionate about? What was something that I really loved doing? And then it was like, spaceships. Right? Spaceships. This shouldn't be too big of a leap, right? Good one, right? So I jumped into aerospace engineering, and have done a multitude of things, working with literally the first space shuttle ever built. So when it comes to the space shuttle, people tend to not question my credentials. I appreciate that. I feel like you can, but you're welcome to do. Sure, whatever. Also working up at Griffith Observatory as well, and then finally getting on tomorrow as well. That ability I have from all of my years of acting, which is to get up in front of people and actually talk. That's what I got. So really, it was just one of those things where I had to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I remembered, oh yeah, I really like spaceships, and then I just dove right back into spaceflight and ate up everything that I could with it, and I still am. So, it was just I don't want to call it like a reinvention of myself, but it definitely was. It just so happens that's when the mohawk came around too, with that. And I hopefully the stream is coming through okay, because I'm seeing a lot of yellow on my end for the stream. I think I'll kind of wait for my internet to calm down. I just want to give a huge shout out to Spectrum Internet for having the most garbage internet in Los Angeles, and I super appreciate the opportunity that the United States has given me to only have one provider available to myself, because even though I deal with astronomy a lot and I did apply for Starlink to beta it, I did not get selected. But I'm not bitter about it. So, okay, good. I'm glad everything's looking good for everybody on your end. So, yeah, Interesting, fun thing happened though when I was right in the middle of my studies for aerospace engineering, which is in 2015. I had reached a point where I basically said I can't take this anymore. Uh, it was a combination of losing an entire friend group I had at that time, being in a elementary chemistry class and having no idea what was going on and how I was able to maintain the A I was getting in that class, and other external factors where I was basically like life hurts right now and I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm checking out. That's it. So February 2015 is when I basically tried to kill myself, and there's really no way to get around it. I tried. Luckily, I wasn't very good at it. So if there's a multitude of things that I am happy that I'm bad at doing, and killing myself is one of them. Because I'm definitely never going to try that again. It was not a fun experience. But that was when I was like, oh, there's definitely something wrong here, and that's when I started to get help. And unfortunately, since 2015, I've been having to work bipolar disorder, which is something that has been graced upon me, that I will now get to contend with for the rest of my life, and kind of work with that. And I'm only just now, 6 years later, almost going on 7 years later, finally finding the right combo for everything that might allow me to go back to school. But just as soon as I'm thinking that that's going to happen, something else may happen that may stop me from going back to school, at least at the pace that I want to, that unfortunately I cannot talk about at the moment. Maybe I will be able to talk about it. If I am able to talk about it, that would be a very good thing. But if I'm not, then oh well. Still a very fun opportunity for that to happen. But I'm hoping for the positive from that, because it would change my life entirely for the better, and I'd like that, because then maybe I can help pay that forward and change a whole bunch of other people's lives for the better as well. But yeah, so that's kind of my story. I was super interested in science. I eventually said, no, I cannot do this anymore. I must become a thespian. And then eventually I got tired of being a thespian and I said, screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go do something. Or as I jokingly say, I thought, what am I going to get from a theater degree besides consistent unemployment and student debt, which sucks. But, is what it is. Oh, thank you, Miguel, for joining us. I appreciate it. Like I said, this was a super weird kind of time to do a stream at, and I only did it at this time because of the fact that what's it called? Because I was off from work today. As you could tell, I don't have a brain on. Actually, most of my brain cooked during the Formula One race today. With that, so yes, there was some other stuff that I wanted to say. There's some other things as I look through the chat room here, and I really do apologize that tonight, unfortunately, couldn't get the chat to work with that. So, yeah, Bennett, Spectrum, that's who I get to deal with in my delightful neighborhood. So, and they're literally like, we just got fiber here, and I was like, oh, that's great. Like, thanks for showing up about 15 years after everybody else. Ask me my opinion about that. So, that answers your question too, Joe. Yeah, you kind of need a trampoline with something about that. Ooh, Joe, that's a really good question. You talk a lot about space hardware during TMRO, but you work in astronomy. Do you prefer stars or planets or the hardware involved in space? So actually, Joe, this is a bit of a cop-out, but I like both. I really love the hardware that makes spacecraft work. And at the same time, I also love the instrumentation that the spacecraft use to do all their data gathering and all their returning of the data and all their maintenance and attitude control and everything. I mean, if it has to do with space, I'm so on board with wanting to learn everything I can about it. And that's always my goal when I'm talking about things, is to just try to learn as much as I can about it. Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. I just love them both. They're just both like super great, and I can't get enough of both. But ultimately, what I'm pursuing in school is hardware. So, and especially project development and things like that. I look at things like Space Launch System and James Webb, and I say, I'd really like to be a part of the group of people that helps make sure that programs like that never happen again. With that, so yeah, yeah. Project management is absolutely fascinating to me. That's why things like Space Launch System and the James Webb Space Telescope, even though I think they're pretty cool, and I think it's great that they've got these amazing programs going, I'm still fascinated by them because of just how bad things are. Joe, I do know of Amy. Very cool. Very cool stuff. I definitely enjoy her videos. She's got a really cool one talking about the Gemini, the Titan 2 Gemini with that. So, and Taos, yeah, hardware is where all the fun happens. I mean, it does. I got to say too, data and data interpretation as well, and crunching the numbers. That's pretty fun as well. So, my bosses at the my direct boss at the observatory is a PhD astrophysicist, and it's just amazing the cool stuff that that he's done and occasionally gets to do with that. I'm totally jealous about all the nights on Keck and things like that. I would definitely love a Keck space telescope. Or a Keck, I just want a Keck telescope, period. It'd be nice, of my own, and then I could use it, and then let anybody else who wants to use it as well. So it's pretty cool there. Joe, sorry, there's another speed bump. Yeah, well, that's kind of just how life goes, right? That's kind of how it goes with that. So, Joe, yeah, as well, if you're going to talk history about spaceflight, you have to understand hardware, which is very important. And to me, the hardware is bread and butter. And it's really important to understand hardware, because if you can understand hardware, you can understand how spaceflight works in general. And yeah, it takes an effort to do it, but like when you put in that effort to do it, you learn a lot. And that's good, right? Because if I'm learning, then you're going to be learning as well at the same time. That's kind of how that's kind of how I like to do things on Tomorrow, when we're doing live shows, a lot of the stuff that we talk about on there is stuff that I'm not an expert in at all. But the couple of days beforehand, I get to read everything I want to about those subjects, those topics, whatever may be happening. And then I get to bring it up and I get to speak to it. And not only do I get to speak to it, these things I'm speaking to it about are things that then like viewers get to learn at the same time, folks who may not have known as well. So yeah, I feel like, especially with the James Webb Space Telescope, with the serviceability issues, talking about the fact that if you were to approach even from behind the vehicle. So lots of people in the comments are saying just show up from behind the James Webb Space Telescope. Don't what do you call it? I'll just go from behind where the sun shield is at, the hot bit. Well, you still have cold gas. You still have gas from your thrusters that's going to be coming out, right? And that's going to depose onto the optics whether you want it to or not. So, yeah, it's just... Yeah, and I thought that was a very cool thing when I learned about that 5 years ago from an engineer at Northrop Grumman, and that's kind of one of the things I try to kind of talk about. And I feel like a lot of people didn't know that, so they learned that, hopefully. Or, as often happens in the YouTube comments, a whole bunch of people did not care about it and then posted whatever they felt like doing. Kind of like what ended up happening to Jonathan McDowell on Twitter this week. I don't know if you guys know Jonathan McDowell. He's a very cool guy. Works at the Smithsonian Astrophysics Institute or something like that. He's basically the king of orbits. He knows probably where everything is in orbit around the Earth at any given time, because he's a person who tracks that kind of stuff. And he replied to a tweet from Elon, where Elon was like, yeah, I've got my Roadster in orbit around Mars, and he was like, no, not really, and. It was great watching a whole bunch of people who really didn't know what was going on or who Jonathan McDowell is and trying to correct him. My favorite one is that somebody said, with all of my experience in Kerbal Space Program, and it's like, it's really good that you're playing the game, but at the same time, nah, there's a lane that you're supposed to be in, and you should definitely stay in it. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. with that. So Rory's asking, can you touch the flight hardware? May I? Yes, actually. I am allowed to touch the flight hardware. And as long as you're with me, I will let you touch the flight hardware. As long as it's in a proper place for that to occur. Kind of looking at some really cool stuff. Yeah, Joe kind of letting Vintage Space, Amy there. Yeah, go for it. She's great. Yeah, Ben, it's like you got room for at least 2 telescopes in the yard. I don't think I have room in mine. I don't exactly live in a big place. I don't even think I could put a full keck in my front or backyard. Oh yeah, Bennett. Somebody said to Jonathan McDowell, who died and made you the orbital police, and then Jonathan McDowell said Johannes Kepler, which is the guy who basically helped figure out some of the mathematics that we still use for orbital dynamics these days, which is what Jonathan McDowell is most certainly the master of. So that was a great and very polite comeback. I also want to give huge props to Jonathan for being courteous with a whole bunch of people who were absolutely not. I would not have the patience to do that. I would basically, I don't want to say start cursing at people, but I would definitely throw on the mutes at that point and just like everybody shut up. I'm busy working with the hardware. So I would have done it. So, oh yeah, Joe. I saw you had that, but then you pulled it back. I guess you needed to retype it or something. Do you do any amateur rocketry? I understand there's a decent little community in LA. Yes, actually, I do amateur rocketry. I guess you call it amateur rocketry. I am NAR level 1 certified. Hopefully going to be working on my level 2 in this upcoming year. And then we'll see about level 3. I'm trying to figure out who I can contact with that, because level 3, you have to have someone who already is level 3 certified, and that's not a lot of people. So yeah, but we do have a very neat little community in the Los Angeles area for sport rocketry. For high power rocketry, it's a little more scattershot, I guess. But if you do go out to some of the high power rocketry stuff that we have in Los Angeles, which we have to go out to the desert for that, so we just don't watch about it with that, yeah, we just can't launch a high power rocket here in LA. So we have to go out to the desert for that, and so it's really fun. I quite enjoy it. I enjoy being out at Lucerne Dry Lake, which is where we do it at. And what's really cool is that there's a lot of JPL people that go out there and fly their own rockets as well. Let's just throw on, it's even cooler that it is a lot of people in LA's aerospace industry that are basically building their own rockets at home. And it's not everybody. Not everybody who goes out there actually does rockets for reals or other things like that. But yeah, it's cool. So it's really cool. I definitely enjoy it. Unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and just show this off. Sorry, Mom. But my mom just retired from her flower shop where she was a florist for 50 years. Congrats to her for that. And we have unfortunately brought the flower shop home. So yeah, as you could see, this is the inside portion of what it looks like. My rockets used to be there, but I had to clean up to keep someone happy. So yeah. Oh well. So I'd go grab them, but they're literally in a closet and behind a whole bunch of stuff temporarily. And unfortunately, my back in its current condition it's in will not allow me to go over most of that stuff unless I have somebody here. I really don't want to hurt my back any further than it already is hurt. But yes, we have some cool stuff, and I'm hoping to build a really big rocket for my level 2. Because I'm very much like the low and slow for that. So that way, if something goes wrong, it's not too high up, and it won't lift the brake too hard. So that's the goal. Oh, Loopy, welcome, Loopy. Yes, we did talk already about the Dunk Fest that was Johannes McDowell. unleashing on the Musk Bros. I feel like it wasn't just the Musk Bros. It was definitely a whole bunch of just rude people on the internet. But then Musk Bros kind of did take over with it. I really hate like compartmentalizing people and putting them in a specific area. But yeah, that's a real one that exists, and it's unfortunate. I'm really not a big fan of the cult that kind of follows that. Because that definitely lets you overlook shortcomings, and that's not good. As an engineer, that's not good. So you have a tough question. Okay, I don't know if your next question is the tough question, but who's your favorite person you've had the chance to meet because of work you've done? Actually, and what's really great about this is my favorite person I've ever gotten to meet was Dr. Alan Stern. Yes, the principal investigator of the New Horizons mission and basically the leader of the Pluto Underground since the 1980s. So he is such an awesome guy. Like, when you're talking to him, he's looking at you and he's listening to you and he's understanding what you're saying and processing it. And then when, like, if you have a question or something for him, you could see him processing it as he's listening to you, and then answer immediately as soon as you're done. Full, total answer, completely understood. And then you got any follow-ups with that? He's also just he was just a really funny guy to be around when we were up at the Griffith Observatory. And overall, probably one of the most pleasant people I have been around, who has DR period in front of his name period. So yeah, he was really cool. We had a map of Pluto up there, and we were in a room, me and some of my coworkers, and he gave us a tour of Pluto. He literally did this like little thing, because we had like an actual physical globe map, spherical, of course, map of Pluto. Yeah, that was amazing to get that from him. And then a couple years later, I got to interview him on TMRO. I want to say it was Orbit 11, either Orbit 11 or Orbit 12. And he remembered exactly who I was, what I did while I was there at the observatory, and was super stoked that I was interviewing him. And let me tell you, I was already super stoked to be interviewing him. And then that interview just ended up being like me and him, like two little kids talking about space. So, which is great, because that's what it's about, right? It's about having a conversation about space and other things with that. So yeah, that's my favorite person that I've ever had the opportunity to talk to. I would also throw Jerry Carr in there, the late Jerry Carr, who was the commander of Skylab 4. He was great to talk to as well, just because he was involved in so much history. And also, I really enjoyed getting to talk to him about the mutiny that Skylab 4 didn't have. So there was no mutiny, and yeah, you know, you can go hear it directly from him. He's the source. There was no mutiny. So that's it. Kind of hard to, well, actually, the guy who was there for it. So, unless you're a Musk Bro. So, boy, I'll get flack for that one. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna jump on YouTube here real quick. Try to find the Alan Stern interview that I did. Where is it? Yes, there it is. Orbit 11. Oh, that was after I had done some Mohawk maintenance there. That was back in, what was that? I want to say 2018, something like that. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty enjoyable with that there. Let me go ahead and throw it in there. All right, there you go. There's the interview. So all of you looking for it in the chat replay, there you go. Hopefully I put the wrong. Hopefully I put the wrong one. Is it late or what? So it's just been a long day. So just a bit of a long day, you know, with that there. So yeah, Alan Stern, amazingly entertaining guy. You got it, Joe. Anytime. Loopy, what's the best thing you've read in recent years? What are you talking about? What is you talking about? Rari asking, do you drink caffeine? Yes, I definitely do. So I do have caffeine. I don't have as much as Jamie does. If you're a TMRO member, you got to see in our members only stream after that Jamie does like 500 milligrams of caffeine a day. I do maybe like 50 milligrams max. And that's mostly because I have to contend with my meds, and my meds are not big on that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and redact that link I put because it's not working. So, but yeah. So I don't know why it's not working. I don't understand the internet. So just know it's tomorrow, orbit 11.08. Okay. So it's kind of, let me just try to go through Loopy's question and I'll get to you, Taus. Hopefully I'm saying that right too, Taus. Because there was somebody who was it? Last time, I can't remember. But I literally spent like 4 hours of the 5-hour stream I last did pronouncing their name wrong. Yeah, it didn't work on my end. Sorry, guys. Just Google tomorrow or go to YouTube, search for tomorrow orbit 11.08, and that's where you can find that at. I got it. Thank you, Taos. Okay, Loopy. He asked, what's the best thing you've read in recent years? Could it be a book, a novel, an article, a comic, whatever? For books, I read one called Pushing the Envelope, which is all about the flight testing that was done out at, it's basically actually an overall history of flight testing here in the United States. And it's amazing. Like, it literally goes back to before Langley and before the Wright brothers working together. It talks about people working on gliders here in the United States. Yeah, it's some amazing stuff. So I highly recommend, if you can, I think it's called Pushing the Envelope. Pushing the Envelope, test flights, something like that. Oh man, I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. Doggone it. All right, well, it was good. And I greatly enjoyed it. And it was easily accessible, so you don't have to be an engineer to do it. I actually did read a comic book a couple months ago called Scud, the Disposable Assassin, and I read all of it, and it's kind of a pretty pretty gonzo kind of comic. Kind of like what I would imagine Hunter S. Thompson would have made as a comic if him and Ralph Steadman made comics together, which is right up my alley because I love Hunter S. Thompson and his works. With that there. Also, there was a paper that I read. Actually, one of my favorite papers I have ever read. I have two of them, actually. One of them is a real paper. The other is one that a friend of mine made for April Fool's Day, because he traditionally always puts out a paper on April Fool's Day that's a joke paper. The real paper was talking about a small Earth mass, basically, instead of Planet 9 being the thing that put those Kuiper Belt objects in their weird orbits, it proposed that there could be a black hole, like a microscopic black hole doing it, and how to detect it if it is. And in the paper, they put a diagram that actually showed like a life-size event horizon for a black hole, one Earth mass, and it was like that big, you know? And I was like, you're compressing everything on Earth down into this little thing, and that's when you break space-time. Blew me away. So also, it was definitely the blackest thing I'd ever seen printed on paper, and probably maybe one of the best circles I've ever seen on a paper either. So I was very impressed that they put that in there, and that they were able to print it so well. It's so like, you can't really put actual physical one-to-one scale things in a paper that usually deals with astrophysics or something like that, right? Because usually, like, you're looking at like galaxies or quasars or something really big scale stuff as an astrophysicist. But these folks were able to put it down and actually fit it at like basically the bottom of a page. So, yeah. And yes, Loopy, as you're saying, my friend wrote a joke paper, which is that in I want to say it was either 2018, he had telescope time at the Palomar Observatory and at an observatory down in the Atacama Desert, and I can't remember which one. But when he was at Palomar, all of his nights except for one got rained out, and then when he was at Atacama, I believe he got rained out on like the 2 sessions he was supposed to do it, and it was like the first rain in the Atacama in like 5 decades, something like that. So he basically proposed that he should be allowed to have telescope time, and only he should, because he could end the drought because of his ability to line up his telescope time with rain as it would cause it. So that was one of them that he's written. There was another one that he wrote where he literally did the mathematics of Queen's Fat Bottom Girls song, the lyrics in it, and he figured out how to do it through physics. It was just brilliantly written. And the concluding line was something like, and thusly this proves that indeed fat bottom girls make the rock and roll go round, something like that. It like blew my mind that he was able to, 1, do that, and 2, get away with it. So, ooh, Twait, TWA88T. Hopefully I'm saying that right. If it's another way I think I say it, I'm not going to on air. Grab a giant pine cone from Palomar. Heck yeah. Whenever I get a chance to go to Palomar, I'll grab one. Pine cones are cool. So just don't try to poop a pine cone. That might hurt. All right. Oh, Taos, yes, a very, very important question. When is the Mohawk coming back? So I don't know if the Mohawk actually is ever going to come back, because take a look at that. Yeah, you see that right there? That's hair. That's volume of hair that I don't have anymore. And guess what you need if you're going to have a Mohawk? Yep, that's right. Volume of hair. So, yeah, I don't know how it's going to come back. I really wouldn't mind doing something other than the fin hawk, which, in case you're wondering, what I had originally with my full head was called a fin hawk, because there actually are different types of mohawks. So this mohawk is kind of a catch-all for a whole bunch of little kind of things, little subdivisions, I guess, going with that. But I don't know yet. I kind of want to do one, maybe like a front, like I had when I first started TMRO back in 2015, 2016. Because I think I still have enough hair up in the front right here to actually do something with. But also in my back, the back of my head, I got look at this, I got loads of hair back here. So I might do something at the back too. I might possibly just like do some kind of like straight back kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I really like actually the straight back kind of thing idea with it there, and just kind of call it the speed tail, and have my head shaved except for that. But yeah, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Also, so Bennett, it's a mohawk. It's really difficult to kind of explain how you have to do up a mohawk, but basically you have to have the hair there, and because the hair is not in this area right here, it will be very noticeable. There's no way that I can cover that up. I used to be able to do that, and then for whatever reason, my hair decided not to grow back after I did my maintenance in April on it. So yeah, but also Jamie has told me that she thinks I should about double the length of my hair, and bleach it and then dye it white and just embrace the mad scientist look. And I kind of like that. So, because I've got some climbing sunglasses, some mountaineering sunglasses that look a lot like goggles. And I think that would be fun to kind of run around that way, would be rather entertaining. So, all right, Ron, I have to see what this ambassador looks like. I've not watched Babylon 5. So, oh God. No, I cannot. I actually have no idea how to pull that off. Oh my gosh, that is hardcore. Wow. That is amazing. Holy smokes. It's pretty incredible, I gotta say. So, wow. That's impressive. I wonder if that's the actor's own hair. I would be like quadruple impressed if that is the actor's own hair doing that. So I think I actually could pull it off, but it might be hard. That is a fin. That is, yeah, I'll call it a mohawk. It is a fin hawk. I go with it that way. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. So, yeah, Mount Whitney calls. This year, so 2020 having our plans completely disrupted by the pandemic, like permits getting pulled and stuff like that. And then this year, my back injury occurring. I am jonesing for mountains so badly. But the thing is, I cannot even begin to think about going up a mountain, unfortunately, with the way that my back is presently with its injury. So I've got it has to heal first. And the things I need to do to train, get myself back up into the physical condition to actually do mountaineering again, would require me to have a healthy back to actually be able to not hurt and be in excruciating pain when I'm doing things on the regular. So, yeah, in case anybody's wondering what happened with my back, don't know. Just know that about 7 months ago it started hurting. I went through physical therapy for 6 months, and that didn't do anything, unfortunately. I feel so bad for the physical therapist who was working with me, because everything that we did didn't work. And I felt so bad, and I kept like saying, like, it's not your fault. Like, I totally appreciate the work you're doing. Like this is just not your fault. Don't worry. Please don't feel bad, and it was really tough. Because I could see he was getting frustrated with stuff at times. But I went to physical medicine, and then I did my MRI like 3 weeks ago, which if you watch the TMRO live episode just previous after this previous one we just did, I talk about the MRI machine and the noises. Oh, my God, the noises. So I was perfectly fine inside of it. Like, I don't care. The inside of the MRI machine was literally like the size of a bivouac, It was like those are the same things that you like sleep in sometimes if you're on the side of a mountain. So, like, no big deal for me. It was the noise. I just could not handle the noise. And, I had earplugs and stuff in because the MRI machines are like 120, 130 decibels, and you're sitting in the middle of it. But it was just a noise. I just couldn't. There was just something very grating about the noise. And I pride myself in being a person who listens to all kinds of music and everything. And like, even myself, who listens to a ton of Aphex Twin and Audacur, and Square Pusher and stuff, I was just like, could not handle that noise. So it was just like, yeah. Luckily my MRI was only half an hour. I see, Rory, you said your kid had to be in an MRI for 2 hours. Oh, give your kid a huge pat on the back. Give the kiddo a pat on the back and a big hug for being able to do that. That was pretty amazing. Hello, Atomic J. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard with us here. So Glad to have everybody with us. I definitely miss having my mohawk. Let me tell you. It was really fun. Loopy, have you thought about getting like crazy Doc Brown hair? Yes, that's actually what I was just saying with what Jamie told me to do. Double the length of my hair, because really right now it's not quite long enough. Like you can see, I can kind of push it up a little bit. But like, see, it's kind of anime villainish, right? So, but it's at the top where there's a real like issue. So it's not quite doesn't quite have the volume on the top yet, to pull that off. So I gotta wait just a little bit, with it, but you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, that's one of the ideas that I have, but also, I don't know. So, cause if something happens soon, that I can't talk about at the moment, but I really hope does happen, I might bring the mohawk back, because damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead with it. So, but also I don't know yet. I gotta find out. So, also I gotta remember to not get too loud, because my neighbors on one side of my house, their room is like right by the opening of the garage here, and I don't want to wake them up. So, I don't like being woken up, so I don't want to wake them up. Atomic J, did you see the moon tonight? No. I did not. I have not yet. So, I must have missed it. Bennett, you could give Ryan a yellow shirt or an orange vest, depending on whether you're going the Marty or Morty direction. Halloween 2022 ideas. Yeah, it could possibly go that way. Yeah, I can't belch on command though. You kind of need that. So Marty the Martian, I'll have to change my last name from the Martian to McFly. Yeah, you should go for it. You know, make it happen. So. Oh, that's the person who I was just talking about when I said I was screwing up their name the entire time has arrived. Don't worry, you are not late. Julie? If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. But it's great to have you here, Julie. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So I keep seeing your comment, Matt Whitney calls, and I just keep thinking about having gone up Mount Whitney and just the experience that was. How amazing that was. So, yeah, that was an amazing day. That whole period, that whole 9-day period was. Rari asking, what are the comfiest shoes in your opinion? Well, I definitely like my Vans that I have. I'm actually wearing Vans right now, so as you can see, hopefully that came through. I didn't get to see the screen particularly easily. So, but yeah, wearing some. So thank you, Julie. I got it right. Yay! I don't know why I got it so wrong last week. So, yeah, and excuse me. Yeah, it was pretty great, I gotta say. So, which shoes of yours have the coolest looking tread? Is that what you call the bottom of them? I guess you would call that the bottom of them? It's typically where the tread on shoes are, right? On the bottom? I don't know why you'd have the tread on the top. That wouldn't end so well. I don't know, the Vans, because it's got that classic waffle look. Air Force Ones also are pretty cool as well. They got that it's Air Force One pattern. I would go in and get them, but yeah, I'm quite a distance away from them. You could call it the tread, Loopy, the rubber part of the bottom of a shoe. Yeah, you could call it the tread, the sole, whatever you want to call it. So that whatever works for me. So, but yeah, I think my Air Force Ones, I would say, have the coolest, just because it's like a classic. It's got that classic look to it. It's pretty neat. So, Ferrari, do you ever switch out the insoles of your shoes? No, because usually I just wear my shoes until they're like ripped apart. So, Yeah. So that's the way that goes. So y'all are hitting all my sneakerhead stuff tonight. So it's a good way to go. Gotta say. So y'all are knocking it out of the park with hammering that for me there. So yeah, I was just playing around with my masks. Double mask, baby. So everybody says, yeah, rough on shoes. Unfortunately, my Air Force Ones. A lot of people will collect Air Force Ones, but I wear my Air Force Ones just as anybody else would. Like any ordinary pair of shoes, because I am that guy who would drive his Ferrari to the grocery store. So, Loopy, that is a bad joke. I'd sneaker this head. Yeah, thanks for that. Julie, ever says, okay, everybody's. Whoa. Okay, so the whole chat room wants to know how what size am I? 13. So that's a problem trying to find shoes. So I'll often get, at least with the Vans, I'll often get customs for it because it's just much easier to do so. Because size 13, there's just not a lot of selection. So, but I have the opposite problem with Air Force Ones. Because it seems like all the people who are into Air Force Ones and stuff have like itty bitty feet. And then we're already not that famous yet. And then people like me who have big feet aren't into Air Force Ones, but I am. So therefore, I get the lion's share of those. So yeah, I was going to say, Loopy says we are 5 questions away from chat asking for feet pics if we continue on this trajectory. That's very true. Yeah, this chat is starting to reach a level that I'm beginning to question. There's some ulterior motives, I think, occurring here. So, yeah, pretty sure a live stream got there last year. Just don't make the mistake of accidentally showing your feet on the internet. No, not really. Not planning to anytime soon, at least. Yeah, this took a very interesting turn. Like, I'm almost expecting like the whole chat room to just be full of like shoe on head, put shoe on head. So, I feel like you have to have been a child of the 1990s internet to understand that one. So, yeah, I think most people are not going to get that joke, and that's fine. So it's fine with me. So. Only on purpose. Thank you, Loopy. I appreciate your faith in me with that. So, Tway asking, not in the garage anymore? Yes, I am in the garage. I'm just on the other side of the garage that you don't typically get to see. This over here is, that trash can is right about where I'd usually be standing for Tomorrow News when I'm shooting it in the garage. So, you guys are killing me with the feet thing. It's pretty funny. Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Hold the line. Da-na-na-na. Oh no, the shoe on head joke is way before that YouTuber. So just to let you know. So I'm talking like the early aughts is a joke I'm referring to. Like when I was in middle school, that joke came out. So that's how deep into internet lore I am. So Grubby, I don't know what's going on today, frankly. This isn't Ask Me Almost Anything, and it's quickly turning into a I'm going to sleep tonight clutching a pillow wondering where everything went wrong. So, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying all of you here with me, even though it got, I don't want to say it got weird, but I mean, it's the internet, whatever. So, Bennett, I came into the internet in Strong Bad days. Oh, yes, Strong Bad. That was good. So, Loopy says, I think we're all possessed by demons. So, maybe. So, I don't know. So, maybe some folks, y'all wrote some contracts about that. So, pardon me, my lips are parched. Yeah, Burt's Bees, baby. Some good stuff. Oh, Julie, you do custom painted shoes. I would definitely love some. I already get like Galaxy customs from Vans. I'm definitely open to getting custom shoes. So it's not above me. I actually want some custom Air Force Ones that I may get if whatever I'm not supposed to talk about happens. Yeah, be pretty cool, I gotta say. So, but yeah, be pretty neat, I gotta say. Pretty good with that. So, still going. I think we're officially 1 hour in. Yes, we are. We're officially 1 hour in. I don't know if I'm gonna go 5 hours tonight. I was going to do live commentary of the STP-3 launch, but it got scrubbed 24 hours. So that's happening Tuesday night. And I got to work on Tuesday, which means that I have to sleep. Because that's another fun thing about being bipolar. I have to sleep, and I cannot just do that. So, Rari, what are all the patches on your jacket? Oh, very good question. So obviously let's start right here. America, right? We gotta represent the place I'm at. So, right, pretty cool. The rainbow flag, Pride rainbow flag. So obviously I'm a out queer pan polyam person. So yeah, represent to all my friends, all my fellow queers out there. What's up? And yeah, I really need to get the, what's it called? The progressive pride one, but it includes the brown and black stripe for our POC brothers and sisters, friendbies and NBs, and the trans colors as well for all of our trans folk, because, you know, trans rights are human rights, in case you were wondering. Jared says trans rights. Damn right I do. This is tomorrow. Obviously, this is the YouTube show that has given me my internet infamy, that has made the internet demand feet pics. And then this right here is NASA's worm logo, because this is the best logo of NASA. Not the meatball. The meatball is cool. It really is. But is it the best logo? No, it's not. So that's what my patches are with that there. Joe Bowden, so who's keeping you from talking about the thing you can't talk about? Well, I can't talk about it. But there is something that I can't talk about. So there you go. What else? Tway is asking, have you ever visited other observatories, like an exchange thing? So I have not visited other observatories in terms of an exchange thing, but I have been up to Chabot, Chabot Space Science Center, and they have 3 telescopes up there, I believe, and I've gotten to play with them before. And in addition to that, the Mount Wilson Observatory is also another observatory I've been to. I actually did a night of observation on the 60-inch up there, which is the one that Hubble used to discover the universe. So I'm very, very excited about that. And then I really want a night on the 100-inch, the 100-inch Hooker telescope up there, but that's a little more expensive with that. So, oh well. And then I've also been to the Big Bear Solar Observatory as well. So that was really cool little tour through that there. It's really neat how it operates, and I quite like it. So very cool. All right. So okay, let's Grubby asking, what do you do at Griffith these days? Well, we are open to the public Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Friday, noon to 10. Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 10. But this weekend, we were not open. So that's why I'm actually having this live stream. And why I'm doing it right now as well. Well, partially why I'm doing it right now is because there was the Formula One race in Saudi Arabia. Lights out, and away we go. We race as one. Not in Saudi Arabia. And I wanted to watch that because it's, if you did not know this, the Formula One Championship, there's one race left in it, and the first and second place are tied. The top two drivers are now tied in points. So basically, whoever gets the most points at the last race of this season wins, and it's amazing. And this has been maybe my favorite season I've ever watched, and I've been watching Formula One since the mid-90s. So, yeah, it's been really good. I've been watching Formula One before I even understood what it was. So up at Griffith, I help interact with the public. I do talks, but I also work a lot with the curatorial staff in interpreting and understanding aerospace, because they are astrophysicists and they are very competent people, but not everybody knows aerospace, and I'm always available as a person to help translate a little bit easier, just as they translate astrophysics for me. So it's like a mutual exchange. It's really cool, actually. So I have a lot of fun, and I'm up there as much as I can be. So, yeah, so that's what they got. Jesus, Atomic J, size 14s. You got some boats going on there. Bennett, I'm in the group that's fine with the NASA's meatball and worm logo on the same vehicle. Yeah, I'm pretty cool. I'm cool with it too. Atomic J, however, says worm ball, which I am. Excuse me, I'm gonna go vomit, because the worm ball is terrible. So Loopy. Actually, let me just double check with that. Hi, Colt. What up, Colt? Colton in the house. Colton, Super Tech Colton. Glad to have you aboard. Welcome aboard, Colt. So, I was going to say something. What was I going to talk about? It was something that you all brought up, too. Oh, what have I done with my life? I'm so confused now. Where was I? I always lose that, so. Yeah. Anyways, it's all good. So. Oh no, not again. Loopy saying, I didn't even see the race, but Twitter was crazy about it. Saudi Arabia must have been a horrible track. Oh, Colt, did you link the chat? Did you just pull some magic powers and link the chat? Colt, did you do witchcraft and just link the chat? Let me know. If not, don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so it's just Saudi Arabia is a terrible track. I'll get to you there, Tim, in just a second. So Saudi Arabia is a terrible track. It's very narrow, and there is very little runoff space. So if somebody loses it, they can crash at very high speed, which is bad. In addition to that, okay. Colt, I'm going to push it to air and see if it actually happens. Let's see. Hey, there it is. All right, the chat is officially linked. Thank you. Everybody give Colton a round of applause. I'll give Colt a standing ovation for that one. Good job. Good job, Colt. So, we love you, Colt. Anyways. Actually, no, you're fine, Colt. Don't even worry about it, Colt. You're fine. So, you're totally okay. Just don't fret about it. You're fine. Okay, now I just got to rearrange everything here real quick, everybody. Just give me a second. Everybody's applauding you, Colt. Look at how awesome you are. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's hit some of these, since I now have the power. So Tim says, hi, Jared. Thank you for the stream. Happy face. What happened to the Mohawk? Well, let me tell you what it's like. Having a Mohawk, which is that you have to do maintenance on it, right? So a Mohawk is very tough on your hair, and it's very tough on your scalp. So every once in a while, you have to let your hair and your scalp kind of chill out for a bit. And you could do that a multitude of ways. You could grow it out and then cut it. And I never did that because I didn't think I looked good with long hair. This is actually the longest my hair has ever been in my life, ever. Right? That's the longest my hair has ever been in my life. I've never had long hair in my life. So, yeah, how do I even do this? I don't even know what I'm doing right now. See? I don't even know what I'm doing right now. But I guess it's fine. I'll keep, looks like a little mohawk. Okay. So, the other option is to kind of shave your head and let your hair grow back in. I shaved my head and then this happened. Which is that some of my hair said, "Oh, you don't want me growing back? Okay, I won't grow back at all." So, yeah, I don't know what to do at this point. I was kind of talking about it earlier. Maybe I could do like some sort of unicorn thing up in the front here, kind of, well, not like that. Also, I thought about maybe doing like speed tail in the back. Little speed tail, kind of like that Porsche race car, right? The Porsche race car. You guys know what I'm talking about with the speed tail in the back, right? The Porsche 917, or was it 960? It was one of those. It was a Porsche 9 of some kind. Yeah, I don't know what to do at this point. Jamie has told me to grow it out about twice its length, and then bleach it, and then dye it white. So I fully embrace the mad scientist look. And actually, I'm all about that. I like that. It would be pretty cool. But I also have to basically be willing to wait, and that's difficult. So, yeah. Bennett could bring the side hair out more, make it a 959. Yep. With those amazing running boards that it had. Yep. That's very, very true. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Bennett, you are a gem. So, Indivisible Science says you'd be able to cosplay as Rick. That's very true. I actually went as Rick for Halloween in 2017, which was before the white people Szechuan sauce riots, which is good. So, because pretty much at that point, I don't want to say it became not cool, but yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird time period. So, and I actually got my friend Blake, you've probably seen him on the show before, to be my Morty for that. But also Blake is just as big as I am, so that's kind of hard. Isaac, howdy, Isaac. Hello to you. Oh, I'm getting a little too loud. I don't want to get too loud. Like I said, neighbors. Don't want to wake them up. So, congrats on lay boyfriend, Colton. Congrats. And Loopy saying, I appreciate how many members of TMRO are on the LGBTQ plus sphere. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I gotta say, there's a lot of us involved in aerospace and spaceflight. So, surprise. And every day we kind of get a little more comfortable being out about things. So, yeah, it's definitely fun being out and in aerospace. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about how some of the fun meetings I've been in with old white dudes. So, now, oh my gosh, Loopy, that's not a bad idea, actually. Next step is to get all of you personas. That's true. I have mine. So since I'm already well established, so I do keep my name away from here, I guess is how I'll say it, just to keep it separate for security's sake and stuff like that. But yeah, cool stuff. So I didn't know Smokey got one for Jamie. I did not know Smokey got one for Jamie. Oh, you know what? Maybe Smokey got some art for Jamie. I actually don't know about that, Loopy. That would be something to ask Jamie, and I'm not going to bring that one up with that. With that. Yeah, because that would be more like a question to ask Jamie for that. Ooh, Tim. Here's a fun one. Has any research occurred that you've heard of to attach a rotating and non-rotating space station segment together, i.e., like we see in science fiction, big enough for a person to float through? Not that I've heard of, unfortunately. People are still trying to barely build space station modules just kind of as it is. So yeah, nothing that I've heard of that's been in serious contention, at least. I think it'd be really cool to get that going, though. I really would like to see us working on artificial gravity, or yeah, I think it would be artificial gravity with it. It's going to be very important. Grubby asking Gateway? Question mark? No, they're not going to do artificial gravity on Gateway. Maybe. That'd be pretty cool. Also, would be pretty cool, would be to called. Oh, there goes my brain. My brain lost it. I had it somewhere. Uh-oh, I'm seeing a big dropout in my speed right now. My amazing internet speed. So hopefully I'm coming back. I just saw a massive drop in my internet speed, so I'm thinking you probably are working with me here, so I'll kind of hang out a little bit. Here. Let me know how the stream did it get through that, because I literally just watched my internet speed go pew! So yeah, I don't know if you can actually hear me at this point, because YouTube is telling me that it does not have enough data to maintain a smooth stream. YouTube is telling me that I'm the problem. Well, YouTube, maybe you should help. Maybe I should get me together with you with that. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. Now I remember what's going on. I have an internet service provider in the United States. That's the problem. Okay, so to kind of go backtrack a little bit here, because I don't know how much you heard, but Tim, I haven't heard of anybody doing artificial gravity through rotation, but oh my gosh, what is my internet doing right now? Get it together. Christ all heckin' mighty. Wow. It is just a blip. Wow, okay. I don't know what's going on now. Okay. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know who's died and made this with this here. I don't know. Okay, so Tim, hopefully I can answer your question this time without my American ISP dying on me. But I have not seen anybody wanting to work on a rotating space station with segments together. I think we should. Somebody should test it, but I don't think it's going to be like a NASA mission. I think it's going to be commercial. And I think that might actually be a good thing for Orbital Reef. You know, Blue Origin's Orbital Reef that they're talking about, their commercial space station. I think it'd be pretty cool to do something like that. Maybe get a long tether on it and rotate it that way. I'm a big fan of tethers. So, yeah, just got to say. Hopefully I'm back now. If not, I just said a whole bunch of stuff with that. So, yeah. Grubby, Gateway Foundation. No, that's definitely one to have gotten confused over. And definitely, yeah. I have not. I didn't even think about Gateway Foundation, just because they haven't done anything. So they're like not even in my head with that. So yeah, Bennett. So many of these things place SpaceX's Raptor engine on the critical path. U.S. internet, artificial gravity experiments that need big rotating payload, other things like that. Yeah, I think there's going to be room for two big rockets, not just one big rocket. mostly because the Air Force is not going to allow one provider, or excuse me, the Space Force, whatever they're calling themselves this week. Definitely not going to allow only one provider to exist. They're going to want multiple providers. So, all right. I have been told that the stream is healthy again. So, wow, that was a few minutes of, that was 7 minutes of terror with that there. So, yeah. Did I miss anything in my flailing around that I was trying to do here as we now cross the 1 hour, 20-minute mark into this unknown? I have no idea. But will it be orange? I don't know. If it's orange, I'm for it. Just naturally, I'm for it. So, actually, Tim, you do bring up a really good point, which is that tethers scare me. I keep thinking they break, and yeah, I remember the shuttle missions. The second one, I believe, the tether, it like a tethered satellite out at like 20 kilometers, and it snapped. And I remember seeing that from the ground as a kid. That was pretty cool watching that go by. Yeah, so it's pretty wild with that there. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then inadvisable science. Yay for healthy streams. Oh boy, do I hope it stays healthy. Oh boy, do I hope it stays healthy. So, we'll find out. We're about to find out. So, thinking maybe I might have to move a little closer to the house in order to get a little more, little more signal with it. So maybe that's the issue. I don't know. And Twait, as you're saying, yes, few weeks till the James Webb Space Telescope. I am absolutely terrified. Oh God, like please. This is one of those things that would not end well if things go wrong. NASA's Astrophysics Division would be in a lot of trouble. So I think we discussed it on the previous Tomorrow Live episode, which is that I think NASA's Astrophysics Division would probably be taking the same heat that was being received in 1990 when it was found that there was a flaw for Hubble, which there was almost to a point where Congress told NASA in a very roundabout way that why should we continue funding you if you can't even make telescopes? So that was with it. Yeah, Bennett, the non-serviceable James Webb Space Telescope. So, yeah, with it, yeah, I know it's non-serviceable, and that's the way it is. So, sorry. And if you want to, this previous Tomorrow Live episode, me and Jamie had a pretty hilarious discussion about it, where it didn't get slightly heated. It got over dramatized, I guess is how I would describe it. But we were both egging each other on during it, and we were both obliging each other as well in our egging of each other on. Yeah. Rory, you're asking, what's wrong with the James Webb Space Telescope? And then Bennett having a very correct answer, nothing yet. So yeah, we're hoping that obviously it works, because we would kind of like it to work. So that's really the whole goal of most missions. Make sure that they work. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend the mission working as it should. Yeah, Bennett, actually, we talked about something. Loopy, as you're saying, we were both toying with each other. Absolutely, yeah. There was no hard feelings or anything involved in that. We both recognized that we were not getting on each other's nerves, but we were definitely playing to each other and just amping it up and trying to one-up each other with it every time. Yeah, it wasn't a heated argument. It was spirited banter, I guess is how I would describe it. But you got to remember, myself and Jamie really know how to, I don't want to say get under each other's skin, but we know how to feed off of each other's energy, and we know when we're doing that as well with each other. So we can end up basically having fun with moments like that. So that's what that was. And Bennett, you actually bring up a really good thing, which is what we talked about during this stream, which is I do like the idea of double hardware since that's the smallest part of the budget. I like the idea of spares as well, but also depends on who is and who isn't allowed to have the spares. So I don't just kind of leave it at that. So Julie, we had several since 1987. Dang, that's old school. That's yeah, that's even before like Conference and all other like the OG furry conventions and stuff, which a lot of people don't know. It was here in Los Angeles where that happened. So pretty cool. So just pretty cool with that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about James Webb because it's going to have lasting repercussions when it works. So because I'm manifesting it by speaking about it when it works. So I think, Bennett, you were asking, will either rocket be orange? And I think that's what the question was, Julie. So, oh my God, Loopy, I'm not pushing that one to air, but oh my God. People in the chat replay will see that one. So you're, biologically, you are not, you are not wrong. Anatomically, you are not wrong. Anyways. Oh my God. Oh my God. In case you wondered, was this a show for kids? No, it's not. So yeah, I don't know. Would we just put that one in the, I'm not going to say it. That was definitely, I don't think I'm going to say that one out loud. That would definitely, I actually would like to be a YouTube partner, and be able to monetize and actually make money off of this. And then I could actually, do this much more often and make really cool videos and other stuff that I have dreams of doing with it. So, but ultimately as well, it is one of those things where sometimes I do have to, close up a little bit and not talk about certain things. So, yeah, inadvisable science. I am looking forward to seeing what James Webb Space Telescope shows us. I am too. It's going to be really great. And I'm hoping that they can get Hubble back up and running, and we can do studies with Hubble and James Webb looking at the same objects at the same time. That would be fantastic. Here's a good one from Rory. Would you wear a patch made by a fan, ... if that fan was me? Absolutely. Send me things, and I will put them on a whole bunch of things. So, yeah. Send me things. I'll wear them. So, Bennett is saying, talking about, will it be orange? Will either rocket be orange? Jared said there will be two, not one. Starship and New Glenn, I believe he was thinking, but SLS though. Yeah, the space launch system is going to fly before New Glenn will. I feel like I could comfortably say that. So yeah, we got to figure out. Blue Origin should probably fly some hardware. So yeah, most YouTubers have the same bookshelf behind them. Jared will wear your patch. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, Rory, I love it. Oh, look at that. Julie's like, patch. And Rory's like, pugs in space. So, yeah, cool. I definitely would be with it. Bennett, I love your thing where like most YouTubers have the same bookshelf behind them. Actually, I'm working on designing my studio space right now, because I'm working under the assumption to like actually be doing this frequently, and my studio space would actually have obviously a bookshelf somewhere in it, because you have to have a bookshelf because you need a room to smell of rich mahogany, but also I'm going to have a series of screens behind me. One of them will be a live view from the International Space Station, thanks to our friends at ISS Above, who you should go check out, issabove.com. I'll also have another screen that will be running the Deep Space Network Now app that JPL has out, which shows you what all the Deep Space Network dishes are talking to. I also kind of do want like another screen that kind of just shows off some like cool space stuff in the background constantly. And then the fourth screen, kind of like bottom right, is kind of what I envision. There's a really cool YouTube channel called California Seismograph, and they have California Seismograph Live, where they actually have a seismograph and real seismic data live, and they're live streaming it. And like if an earthquake happens, you can actually watch it happen. And I haven't caught an earthquake yet that I've felt happening on there, but I think it would be really, really cool. Colton's asking, what are you going to be doing? Not just ask me almost anything, I hope. Guess what? I'm going to be doing quite a few things. So this week, you will see the return of It's All Up There, which is my weekly astronomy news show. I know on my the About portion of my channel right now, it shows it for a debuting last week, but things got in the way. So now that I've finally got a whole bunch of things out of the way, and I had a lot of free time this weekend because Griffith closed, left me some time to do things. It's All Up There will be debuting this week. I've already got Blake set up to be shooting a STS with me this week as well. Super excited about that. I am also very excited to be doing a super secret project, which involves stuff happening on Mars, called This Week at Mars, which I'll talk and review everything that's happened on Mars in the past week. So now you know what secret project number 1 is. And then secret project number 2 does involve earthquakes. And I'm very excited to debut it because there's a certain thing on YouTube where a lot of people like to predict earthquakes and stuff like that. And I am going to take the piss out of them and have a lot of fun doing it. It's more a side project that's just for jokes. But that's secret project number 2. So there you go. There's 2 secret things. My 2 secret projects. You now know what they are. So, and I'll mostly say that because they're debuting this week anyhow. So it's not like anybody's going to be able to beat me to the punch. So there you go. So, yeah. That's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, yeah. I've also got Ask Me Almost Anything, obviously. I've also got Head, my editorial kind of thing, if I ever want to talk about. I'm writing one right now to talk about bipolar disorder and my dealings with it and what it's been like for me and the whole journey that I've done with that. And I've got to really figure out how to approach it correctly because I am very irreverent, I guess is how I would say it. I have very little respect for things you're supposed to respect. I think Richard Feynman called it a healthy disrespect of respect. That's very much what I believe in, very much what my dad and my mom taught me. You know, both of my parents taught me that authority is always begging for disrespect. So, you know, in case you're wondering what kind of family I come from, pretty ornery one. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes with that there. So. Twait says, any Quake alerts? Nothing at the moment. It would have to be, I think, what did they set it to here in Los Angeles? So I do have the Shake Alert app on my phone. So I do have it. I'll show you here. So I do have Shake Alert on my phone. But it has to be, I think, magnitude 4 shaking or higher in terms of intensity before it'll actually alert you. Last September, so September 2020, we had an earthquake that was a 4.6 here in the LA basin. And it was close to me, so I felt it because my entire room just went. just like that all of a sudden. And I legit did think like we were like, here we go, the Quake Alert came just as the shaking was stopping. And the Quake Alerts, I still appreciated the fact that the system told me there was an earthquake, even though, no, there was an earthquake. But the thing was, I didn't live far away enough from the epicenter for the shake alert to reach me in time. So it did get to me, but it got to me right as the earthquake stopped. But if I was like, say, down at the TMRO studio, I would have had about 4 to 6 seconds of time before the shaking started, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it is enough time for you to say, what am I getting under? That looks the most sturdy, and then get yourself under it. Or in some places where like it's like you may get 15, 20 seconds, that may very well be enough time for you to get up and physically leave the building that you're inside of, which is great. If you can be outside during an earthquake, fantastic. Good way to make that happen. So in case anybody could not tell, seismology is absolutely fascinating to me. And if I wasn't in rocket science in terms of the type of engineering and science that I do, I would love to be in seismology. And especially geoengineering and stuff like that. It is so cool. And earthquakes are absolutely fascinating to me. Having lived in LA all my life, earthquakes are just a way of life. You'll feel 5 or 6 a year. It's just the way it goes. It'll start. You just kind of wait and you go, is it going to get any bigger? And that's always the fun part of the earthquake, because it's not like a tornado or a hurricane that you can like look at it. You can predict where it's going. You know how intense it'll be overall. Although I'm sure if Mark was here from last week, he would tell me otherwise about tornadoes. I bet he would. But with an earthquake, you can't predict when it's going to occur, and you can't predict the strength that it's going to be when it does go off. You can forecast when an earthquake is going to occur. Like the southern San Andreas, which is the fault that I live near, is going to rupture. I think there's something like a 40% chance over the next 60 years. Like, that's as good as it gets right now. And it's so funny because if you look at seismology back in the 70s, they were pretty confident that by the 80s and 90s, they would actually be able to predict earthquakes. Turns out, a little more complicated than we would expect. So when I see people on YouTube doing earthquake prediction videos and pulling on people's fears of that, and dread of an earthquake occurring, it kind of annoys me. So I'm going to do something that will hopefully annoy those people back. Because, yeah. So, Loopy asking, but whose fault is it? And Rory saying, San Andreas. Absolutely. Grubby, you're correct. I have grown 0 potatoes. Here we go. Inadvisable science. It's San Andreas' fault. Bennett giving a shout out to the movie San Andreas. Which luckily an earthquake will never be that big here in California. It's still, whenever the big one hits, it's going to be really fun where I live, because we'll have like 2 to 3 minutes of shaking. So that'll be fun. So I've been in some good sized earthquakes before. I was in Big Bear for Landers in 1992. That's the one where I was in my family cabin and I watched a CRT monitor about this big, our TV that we had in that, fly literally horizontal across the living room, smash into the wall. So that was amazing. And then getting under the table on a smooth floor and sliding back and forth a couple feet at a time with every movement of it. That was freaking amazing. Oh man, talk about a display of power that sticks with you for the rest of your life. That was definitely one of those. And then also, if that wasn't enough for you, Big Bear, where we had previously been hours before. So basically, obviously, when the earthquake happened, we were like, vacation's over. We're going, cabin okay? Cabin okay. We're going down the hill. We're going back home. We'll come back when it's not shaking. So that wasn't enough for you. Like 4 hours after that earthquake happened, we're in a Denny's, and my dad's taking me to go to the bathroom. Because remember, I'm like 4 years old at this time, so he could do that. I'm not 33 like I am now. That's weird. Why did I even say that? but the water started splashing around, and they had another sizable earthquake up in Big Bear that ended up being a triggered earthquake. So landers, its fault ruptured, it loaded up whatever fault was at Big Bear, and then that fault ruptured as well. And yeah, we had another triggered sequence earthquake with that, and YouTube's telling me I'm losing the stream again. God, I swear to God, YouTube. I wasn't doing this last week. That is so interesting that it wasn't. So why don't I move a little closer? And while I'm doing that, I'm going to bring you with me. Okay, here we go. Oh, maybe I need to. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're nice and close. Oh, okay. How'd that do? Did that increase my signal ratio there a little bit? A little bit. It's not bad now, I think. Although the lighting sucks now. Great. Oh, well. What am I going to do? Yeah, wow, there's some deep dips in my internet speed. Ugh. So, thanks, Spectrum. I don't think Spectrum's going to sponsor anything I ever do, let me tell you. Yeah, so that's it. Hey, Loopy, that's a good name. It editorial. Sure, let's do that. Twait, I am well aware of that. Saying you should read up on the Pacific Northwest coming up on a 9.0 from the Juan de Fuca plate. Yep, I know about that. Y'all are doing subduction up there, so, and that's how you get the Cascades up there too. Starting at Mount Shasta on the way up. So there you go. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Bennett there was watching a video about Mount Pictou the other day. Hopefully I got that right. Was super surprised to learn in that plates don't just melt when they slip under another plate. Yeah. I think they've actually found some, I don't want to call them like free floating plates, but there's definitely areas of higher density in the mantle. In certain areas, so which is so weird to think about, right? Holy smokes, that's really cool. Yeah, and the Pacific might be ripping in half. That's kind of what we're doing here in California. We're a transform fault boundary, which means we're sliding past each other. So actually, where I'm at, I'm on the Pacific plate, so I'm heading up to San Francisco at some point. At some point, I'll arrive at San Francisco in a couple million years. Which is going to be great because I won't have to take 8 hours to drive to get to San Francisco. But actually, considering a million years from now, traffic will probably still be just as bad. So yeah, it'll take 8 hours, even when they're right next to each other. So, oh well. So, all right, Grubby. Grubby, good night all. Big day tomorrow. See ya. Grubby, don't know what's happening tomorrow, but good luck. We're all rooting for you. Go and get it, Grubby. Make it happen. All right. Okay. I need to jump back. Okay, Julie wants you guys to show off my watch. Oh my God. Yes, all this talk about geology stuff. I want to watch The Core now. I love The Core. It is such a bad movie, and it does not try to hide that it's a bad movie. That's why I like Armageddon more than Deep Impact, because Deep Impact tries to present itself as some sort of scientifically above Armageddon, and it's not. The science in it sucks a lot. Is it more scientific than Armageddon? Yes, but that's also like saying cyanide is faster than hemlock. Like, you're still having the same outcome. It's just not good. So, oh, it's good. I'm sure all the classics majors are understanding what I'm talking about. So yeah, actually, Rory, I was going to jump in here. You asked, do you believe in UAPs? I do not know what UAPs are. So let me look up what UAPs. Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. Is that what you're talking about? The thing that they started to try to identify unidentified flying objects and other stuff like that. think it's pretty funny. Okay. So, yeah, Bennett, you make an amazing point here. Rockhound is a heck of a geologist. So, no nukes, no nukes. Anyways, oh, they made a new name. So, okay, so unexplained aerial phenomena, which is what they got. It's made it sound less scary, and Rory, you're saying the new name for UFOs because aliens, perhaps. Having read a few of the reports of what some of those unidentified aerial phenomena were happening around, the ones that occurred in 2004 were happening in and around a Navy task force that had just upgraded its detection and tracking instrumentation. So what it sounds like to me was that some of the best uncrewed aerial vehicle systems that the U.S. military or Department of Defense or whatever black project you want to call it had at that time, sent it out to challenge it, if you will. But there's also a lot of people who have looked into it and said that it really does actually look like just problems in the optics and other things like that from the instruments. So I wouldn't be very surprised. It kind of reminds me of stories that you hear of cops who are supposed to be very well trained observers radioing in that they're going down the road pursuing a bright light in the sky, and it turns out that this bright light they thought was going back and forth was actually Venus, and they thought it was going back and forth because they were following the road, as best they could. I think the most critical thing to understand is that there's the word unidentified in it. That's super important. Unidentified means we don't know what it is. Unidentified does not mean aliens, because if you had seen an SR-71 in the 1960s before they were declassified, you probably would have thought that was a UFO. Considering my dad, the things he worked on, well, one of the things he worked on, the other things don't know what he worked on. But with the B-2, if I'd seen the B-2 in the 80s, I probably would have been losing it out in the middle of the desert. I'd be like, what the hell is that? It's a freaking UFO, So I would be very surprised if it was actually something off of this planet. Also, if you're an intelligent life, why are you just skimming around? Like, what's the point? What are you surveying for if you're just doing something like that? I think if life has intelligence, it would be a little more intelligent than what we typically see UFOs doing. Because it seems like they just kind of come in and then they're like, hey, what's going on down there? Look at them. They got a steel tube with big wings still. All right, we're out. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, at least personally, for something that would be intelligent to kind of do that. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of like prime directive and they've got cameras everywhere and we're the reality TV show of our local quadrant or something. Because boy, 2020 felt like the simulation. Somebody was pulling the wrong levers and gears for that, right? But yeah. So do I think it's aliens? No. Mostly because, like Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I've seen no evidence to say that it was aliens or anything like that. Okay, so here's a cool thing about me. So even though I don't think it was aliens, I still feel like it's something worth investigating. So, and that's where I depart a lot from a lot of my engineering and science people, which is that I think it's actually worth investigating. Mostly because I want to know if it's not a thing. If it's proving something is not real or not what you actually think it is just as important a result as proving that something is real or is what you think it is. So Yeah. I'll actually say this. Back in 2009, I actually did do some ghost hunting with a group that did things with scientific instrumentation, not with what most ghost hunters are going to go out with. But they were actually using things like magnetometers and other things to actually measure what was going on in these haunted places. And of course, we never found anything. Why? Because it's supernatural. I would say 999 to the 99th power against 10 to the 100, whatever the odds are. Super slim that it would actually be possible. Because let me tell you, I've been on medications before that have made me see things that would definitely be considered supernatural phenomena, but that wasn't. It was just the medication working with my brain juices a little incorrectly there, which is why I'm not taking those anymore. Thanks, Prozac and Seroquel. Yeah, so long story short, no, I don't think it was aliens. Is there life out there? Fairly confident. There's a lot of stuff in our universe, so there's got to be something out there. It would be a huge waste if we were the only thing. And yeah, I just really feel like it would, yeah. So that's my opinion. So. Yeah, Loopy saying I have proof the ghosts don't exist because my cabinet doors stay open. Oh yeah, Wayward plane. R.I.P. Wayward. Oh, Wayward told me that they would haunt me specifically to close them because I always left them open. And I'm not being haunted. Therefore, QED. We're done with that one. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good old Groom Lake. Area 51. Yeah. As Twait says here, 30 years of flying professionally, never seen anything. And actually, I think when pilots report stuff, I think there's a little bit more credence to that. Because these are folks that obviously know what they're talking about and know what they're looking at frequently. So, yeah, so pretty cool. So, all right. Yeah, that was a long discussion about that there. So, definitely went into that a bit more than I thought we were. So, all right. Julie, Jared, show off your watch. Which one? Because I'm wearing two watches right now because one of my watches, my Apple Watch, is for the local time. And then the other watch I have is UTC because I have a very big watch collection and they were just sitting there. And I said, I want to wear my watches. So I'll just throw it on UTC. Make it happen that way. So should I start with the Apple Watch and show you all the complications on it that I have on my front one since I run Infographic Pro? Is it Infographic Pro? Is it Infograph Pro? It's just an Infograph. Excuse me. Yeah, Loopy, that's true. Technically, all I have is proof that Wayward isn't a ghost. Yes. In science, we're constantly trying to prove and disprove ourselves simultaneously. So, whatever works. All right, Julie, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the face of that and the face of this? Or are we just rolling this? Are we just rolling Apple Watch? Or should I just go ahead and just shut up, Jared, and do both? I could definitely do that. So, this is weird doing a stream at night because it's getting cold in the garage. So, yeah, I'm glad I put a jacket on. So, yeah, Twait, UTC watch. I just figured I've got 7 watches that are sitting in there, 7 not smart watches that I've really like. I've just figured, come on, let's figure out a way to get them together with that. So, Colton, remember Stargate? Ascension has some rules. It's very important to understand that. So, Wow, my internet really is doing bad tonight. I just jumped onto my streaming software and 6% of my frames have dropped tonight. Wow. Wow, Mom. So, anyways, all right, let's just get this started, right? We'll start with the Apple Watch, okay? Apple Watch, baby. I feel like Jeb Bush doing that, right? Yeah. So I've got to do this backwards. Date, weather, calorie intake, to-do list of things. Bottom one is the solar system. That's the activity circles. That's how hydrated I am, which I haven't inputted yet today. And then that's the Earth at the top right there to remind me of where I am on the Earth. So that's what I got. So, woohoo. So I really like my weather one because it actually has radar on it. And I think that's really cool to have radar on my wrist. So, which is going to come in handy because it's actually going to rain this week in Los Angeles. Can you imagine that rain? I have the solar system on there just in case. Like, you never know. So, also, it's actually really helpful too in explaining to people why certain objects are in certain parts of the sky at certain times of the year. Because it's really difficult for people to understand it. And then you show them through the little thing that Apple has on there. Where is it? Oh, come on. And it's just, this is probably some riveting stuff to see happening. Oh, did they get rid of the solar system watch face? I guess they did. Wow. That sucks. I love that watch face. Oh no, there we go. It's just called astronomy. I don't want to look at the Earth. Screw the Earth. Yeah, so see, they've got that watch face that's the solar system, right? So I can explain to people why we have to launch. You know, I just can't launch a rocket to Mars whenever I want to. I have to wait for just the right time to launch it, right? Like, here we go. Perseverance's launch date. What was that? July 30th, I believe? There you go. Earth and Mars. Oops, I have it off screen. Earth and Mars. Look at them. Right there, okay? Perfectly aimed. And now there goes Earth past Mars. Boom. So, there you go. Yeah, and then this one right here. One of my amazing watches that I have right here. One of my favorite watches. It is a Casio ProTrek G-Shock. This one is the PRG 600Y, and I love this thing. So let's go ahead and run through what it is capable of doing. So first of all, it's running on UTC. So here we go. Now I'm on a barometer. So the current air pressure in my garage is 30 inches of mercury. Current temperature, this will always be skewed because it's on my wrist. You have to take it off of your wrist for about half an hour. So on my wrist, it's about 83.6 degrees. If I were to let it sit on the table for half an hour, then it would finally reach that. This is if I need to recall a stopwatch time for my stopwatch that I have right here. I also have a timer as well that I can set in different minute increments. I can also set an alarm as well, so which is very handy when I'm out camping. Okay, ready? Here we go. Oh, sorry. Trying to remember which one is which. Okay. Okay, here we go. There's my altitude. So because it has a barometer on board, it can figure out what the altitude is. So, and it is accurate, by the way. So I'm at about 105 feet above sea level. So when I was on Whitney, 14,505 feet, it was exactly on 14,505 feet. What's really cool, when I was flying on airplanes, I would pull up the altitude And when I could feel my ears changing, I could watch the air pressure altitude inside of the plane change. And man, does it change fast. So that was really cool when that was happening. And then this one, I also have a compass. So it'll tell me which direction my watch is pointing. And then the second hand will always point to north. And it is calibrated for magnetic drift. So this is what we would call an ABC watch. So altitude, barometer, compass. And if you do mountaineering, an ABC watch is extremely important to have because you need to know what's going on. Altitude obviously tells you what altitude you're at, because if you're at very high altitude, you need to know and need to understand if you're starting to get altitude sickness and you need to drop and get your altitude down ASAP. You can use that to determine how fast you're going down. Barometer, that helps with weather, because if you're up in the mountains, weather can change very rapidly. In fact, on the third day of our High Sierra Trail trip, when we were leaving Hamilton Lake and going over a very beautiful area called Kauai Gap, we got sit down by a thunderstorm. And that thunderstorm came out of nowhere, because that's how things work in the mountains. So barometer, very important because it helps you out with weather. And then compass, obviously very important to help you out with navigation. You can never have enough compasses. And of course, when I go out and do mountaineering and backpacking and other things and off-roading and stuff like that, I always have paper maps with me too, because always remember, paper maps, you don't have to charge them, and they work in all kinds of weather. So... and yeah, Julie, the G-Shock is very cool. I also forgot to mention that the front on the screen here, I didn't know if I showed it to you, but it's kind of got that, it's got, little labels that are for every major time zone of the 24 time zones that we have. So UTC is at top, and I really like that for Pacific time. They put LAX, our little airport here in LA, as the official designator for the Pacific time zone. So big fan of that. So, yeah. And then in addition to that, the front face of this watch is actually also how it charges, because it's solar charged. So if I'm out in the sun, it's charging the battery. So, which is pretty damn handy. So, and the battery basically is already guaranteed to last, I think it's 2 years without a charge. So, and as you can imagine, because I'm very much a outdoorsy kind of person, I really like to be outside. So it's always charged. So, and it actually will tell me too, if it's charged or not, by that little, if I run through them real quick here, you'll see it'll say H on the end right there. Ready? And there you go, H. So that means high charge. So, high charge. So, is this the part that releases the poison dart? I haven't found that one yet. I should call Q branch. I think with it. Or magnetically deflects a bullet. Yeah. And you know what's really cool too is that because it's a G-Shock, it keeps its time super well. I've had this for almost 3 years now, and I've only had to update the time twice. So, and then when it was updated, it was only because I was starting a trip, and it was only maybe like 3 or 4 seconds off. So that's a good watch. So, and it is quartz, and it's waterproof. So, which is great. I love it. So, I have some other cool watches, but we'll do that for another stream sometime. But yes, I am a chronograph enthusiast. One that I absolutely want is the Omega Speedmaster Professional, the one that was worn on the moon. Also want the Belova Lunar Module Pilot one as well. So, what model is this? Let me double check. Casio G-Shock Pro Trek PRG 600Y. Don't know if they make it anymore because it is a couple years old. But, you know, man, it's a good watch. I love it. So it does exactly what I need it to do. So, and it has never let me down. Last year, I bought a ProTrek Casio G-Shock smartwatch that I did get to use on my last mountain I went up, which was fantastic. It had like GPS in it and maps loaded into it and everything. It was amazing. But even with that G-Shock smartwatch I was wearing, I still had this one because contingency, right? You always need to have a backup. So it's super important. So, ooh. Inadvisable Science is asking if I ever had a tourbillon. Okay, I probably screwed up how to pronounce that. I have not. Yeah, I have not. So I do have an automatic watch, but it's like an 8 joule movement, which joules are the amount of, how would I say it? The amount of complex things that are in it that keep the time. And the more joules you have, the more accurate the watch tends to be. And 8 joules is not a lot. So, yeah. Tourbillon. Okay, thank you, Loopy. Tourbillon. Tourbillon. Oh, tourbillon. Okay. No, I do not have a tourbillon. So, Julie, I'm now looking up La Poussée chronographs. Sounds very French. Oh, those are beautiful. Those are very nice. I want a Toblerone. You made me hungry now. Yeah, Julie, I gotta say, automatic watches are really cool because it always makes you recognize that time is moving and that it is running out. Yes, Loopy. Have you seen those watches made with metal recovered from Soyuz boosters downrange? Yes, I believe they're called Warren Buck or something like that. And yes, I actually want one. And I may buy one if things go right with what I can't talk about. So, yeah, Colton, you're talking about it. That was the hardest thing to do, making my own movement and watch, making the rubies for the bearings. Yeah, I don't think people understand why really high-end watches really do cost as much as they do, and it's because the craftsmanship that goes into making those things is unfreaking believable. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beyond surgical. It is aerospace levels of precision with some of those watches, and I love it. So, yeah. Oh, nice. Your watches, they are Doctor Who related. Very nice. I am very limited in the amount of Doctor Who I've seen. I have only seen half of Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, his single season. That's it. But I like what I've seen so far. I really need to jump on that and watch it. So, all right. I'm furniture. All right, how you doing, furniture? Asking, speaking of hiking in nature, have you ever been around an active volcano? No, not an active volcano, but I have been around several extinct or considered extinct volcanoes before. So Pisgah Crater and Koso Junction around there, and Amboy Crater as well. All three of those are cinder cones that are thought to be extinct. They probably are extinct, but of course, you have to, they haven't erupted probably in 10,000 years at least. Yeah, I've been in and around dead volcanoes, but nothing active. But I would totally would go see an active volcano. If I had the money to do it and the ability to do so, I would have dropped everything and flown flown to the Canary Islands to actually see the volcano that is still actively erupting there. That it is on my bucket list to see a volcano, an active volcano up close. But also, I would kind of like to be able to do some science while I'm there too. So that's kind of my goal with that if I were to go there. So, yeah. But yeah, volcanoes are amazing. Again, I would totally be involved in geology and seismology if I wasn't in spaceflight. So that would be my next area for sure. Oh, nice. It was actually the doctor's watch there, Julie. Very cool. Very cool. Loopy. Have you visited Mount St. Helens? I have not. Not yet. It is on my list of places to go. That Crater Lake, and I actually do want to climb Mount Shasta, Mount Hood, and Mount Rainier. So, those are some of the two ones or three. Two. My God, three that I want to do. Rory, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. I'll try to keep being awesome. You keep being awesome as well. So we'll be seeing you. So, the highest mountain that I want to climb is Aconcagua down in South America. And I believe it is... How high is it? 6,961 meters, which is 22,837 feet. So, yeah. So, yeah, I have no desire to go climb Mount Everest, simply because you can pay an adventure group $30,000 and they'll hook you up with all the equipment and zero training and get you to the summit. And I don't feel like that's much of an accomplishment. Also, if I was going to go do Everest, I would do it without supplemental oxygen. I would definitely prefer to do it without that. But yeah, I just also have no desire to go to Everest. Zero whatsoever. I've thought about maybe... Loopy, shut up. What are the what's the one in the Himalayas? I can't remember. There's a 1,800 meter or 8,000 meter. Yeah, 8,000er. So there's 14 8,000ers, which are mountains that are 8,000 meters in height above sea level, basically 26,250 feet tall or higher. And they're all in the Himalayas, if you want to go. The summits are in what's called the death zone, and that's basically when your body stops working because it's not getting enough oxygen, and your body says, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna handle all this." What is the name of that one? I can't remember the name of it. Cho-Oyu, I think. Choouyu. It's at 8,188 meters or 26,864 feet. It is apparently the easiest of the 8,000ers to go up. And if I were to decide to go do one, that would be the one that I would go do. So, but that would also require me to, I don't recall if that one is in China or not, or you have to come up through China, which would be a little difficult to do being an American. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty cool. I don't know how many people have died on it. So they say that it has the lowest death to summit ratio. I'm gonna definitely look up this now. I'm pulling up the datum right now to see where it's at. So Yes. Okay, so the mountain total ascents. Oh, wow. So Cho'oyo is actually the second most climbed 8,000er in the world. Everest is the one that has the most. Wow, there's actually only been just a little over 10,000 climbs of 8,000ers. That's pretty, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Oh, that's actually a pretty good ratio with that there. So K2 is the most dangerous of the 8,000ers. It's the second highest mountain in the world. It's usually 1 in 3 people die on K2, which is gnarly to think about with that there, right? So, yeah, that's frightening to think about. But it looks like Cho'oyu has had 2,668 ascents and 39 fatalities during that time. So 39 divided by 68. So, or times 100. And it has a roughly 1 in 75 people die doing it. So that's not bad. That's shuttle, roughly. Shuttle rates. COVID rates as well, thereabouts. So, but also, I'm furniture, yes. As you're saying, and I totally agree with you here, lots of great, accessible, and more survivable climbs to do around the west coast of the U.S. for sure. Yes. Shasta, Hood, Rainier, and Denali. I do want to do Denali. That's for sure. I would absolutely love to do that. So, but also there's some backpacking trips I want to take too. I definitely want to do the High Sierra Trail again. I would really like to do, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a trail that goes from Badwater in Death Valley all the way up to the summit of to the summit of Mount Whitney, and I'd like to do that. So you go from lowest elevation to highest elevation in the northwestern hemisphere. Yeah, I think you got it right there, Julie. Machu Picchu. I would love to do that. So. Yeah, yeah, Doug Hurley wearing a Fitbit. Good point, Bennett. So. So Loopy saying you need to take your Jeep up the Mount Washington Auto Road, 6,288 all the way, and get the sticker. What does it go from sea level to 6,288? Because I have driven my Jeep to the highest point that you can legally drive drive any vehicle as a mere pleb here in California. So, in case you were wondering, and it was when I went to go do White Mountain Peak. White Mountain Peak is the second, or no, is it the third highest? Oh crap! Y'all are making me try to remember my mountains. Here in California. Third highest peak. There we go. That was 14,252 feet, or 4,344 meters. I drove on a road called White Mountain Road all the way up to 11,700 feet. So almost twice the height of what you're proposing with that. So, yeah. But I would definitely be down to go to the top of it. Piece of cake for my Jeep. So if my Jeep can handle White Mountain Road at 11,700, like a hot knife through butter, then yeah, Mount Washington Road will be a piece of cake. So, Oh, yeah, Julie. Sounds like a tour of the Boeing Flight Museum will be in the works with all the Pacific Northwest places for you to go. Yeah, Pacific Northwest is definitely a place I want to go. So, for sure. 1,527 feet to 6,145 feet. Okay, that's doable. That's a piece of cake. So, cause if I start down in Big Pine, for White Mountain, you start down in Big Pine, which is at 3,989 feet. And then you end at the trailhead where there's a lock gate at 11,700. So by doing my math here, that is 7,711 feet of gain, which is taller than Mount Washington is, period. Of course, didn't do it all in one day because that's just asking for altitude sickness. So we went up at progressive altitudes. So first night went up to about 8,000. Well, first night we were in Big Pine, so we're at 4,000 feet. Next night we were up at another campsite. It was at 8,000 feet. And then we spent another night at a campsite at 10,000 feet. And then we made our assault on the summit of White Mountain Peak. And did it. And that's when I was like, okay, if I can do this, which is only 253 feet lower than Mount Whitney, then I think I can do Mount Whitney. And that's when I stopped being scared. So, or that's when I stopped being nervous. No. Yes. Yes. Because if you're doing mountain climbing, you should always be cautious. Cautious and respectful of the mountain. If you're cautious of the mountain and you're respectful of the mountain, it will treat you well. So, oh wow, you're gonna do the whole Florida coast? Maybe, Loopy. I might join you on that. Obviously I got to get physically back to where I can do this. So, in case anybody doesn't know, I injured my back earlier this year. Don't know how it happened. Don't know when precisely it happened. Just know that around the end of March, early April, started having pain. Went through physical therapy, didn't work. Felt very bad for my physical therapist because he was so frustrated about it. I was like, I'm so sorry, man. It's not your fault. With that. And turns out my lumbar vertebrae, the discs between them have done some very dumb things. I think my L4, L5 disc is bulged, and my L5, S1 disc is bulged with stenosis and impinging on a nerve. Good job. Good job down there. So, probably didn't help that I gained a ton of weight during COVID. So yeah, I've got to lose weight. Doctor's orders actually to lose 50 pounds to get back down to help out with it. But yeah, just had the MRI done. And I'm going in this week actually to meet with my doctor to talk about the MRI and see what's going on. So yeah, Loopy, maybe I'll do that. I've got to get in shape, obviously. So, and maybe my partner will come along because my partner is a seriously good cyclist and absolute road monster. So, maybe. So, we'll see. I gotta get in shape first. I gotta deal with all this first. So, yeah. So. I don't know, Loopy, are we doing it in a single day, or are we going to do a couple days? So I'm definitely down for however this goes. So this sounds like a couple of days, which I'm up for it. I'm game. I'm game for a couple of days. So there goes my internet again. I swear to God. Just there's these like big U shapes in some of these. Just these. just like, that's where the internet's going now. Aha, I see now. So it's very dumb. It's dumb and I hate it. Like a proper Cuban sandwich. You had me a Cuban. So Cuban food is good. We have a bakery here in my town. From it's a Cuban family runs it, and it's like actual Cuban food, and it's delicious. And I can never get enough of the food that they have there. So, yeah, Steve Lamb, hi. Thanks for sharing that, Jared, about your back. Yeah, I'm trying to be on the road to recovery as fast as I can. Admittedly, it's I don't get to call the shots here, it seems. So yeah, Loopy, we should do all the cool things. So yeah, I'm furniture. Pacific Crest Trail, Mexico to Canada on the West Coast. Yeah, that would be really cool. One of the people who did the High Sierra Trail with me in 2019 did the California amount of the Pacific Crest Trail. And then one of the people who did the High Sierra Trail with me, actually both of them who I did it with, we want to do the John Muir Trail, which I really want to do the John Muir Trail. So you start in Yosemite, you basically make your way down the Sierra Nevada mountains, and eventually go up Mount Whitney and then out at Whitney Portal, which I would love to do that. So would be fun. Yes, I'm furniture. Very good point. Pacific Crest Trail, not ideal with back pains. Yeah, considering it's like 3,000 miles long. And you go up and down a lot. Yes, not ideal with back pains. Hike Route 66? I don't know if I'd hike Route 66. I'd like to cycle Route 66. All right. Good night, Colton. Thanks for coming. So, Stevie, I've been following your stuff and was wondering what's going on. I've been there too, but also spinal damage, and you truly do need to recover properly before taking on anything big. Yep, that's what I did this year. I basically had to cancel all of my mountains that I wanted to go up. So, but as I've been telling myself, it is better to wait a year, 2 or 3 to be well than to never be able to do it again. So I have the patience. If I did not have the patience, I would not be working in spaceflight. So, yeah. Good stuff. As you know, it would be cool to live stream going up Route 66. I've driven some of Route 66 before, going through Amboy in that area, near Amboy Crater, when I went to go see it. And it's there's not a lot. I stopped in Amboy, and there was Roy's Motel, and then a post office and a gas station, and some little bungalows that I don't know if you could rent them out or not. That was it. But it was cool. It was a really cool little town. So I'm furniture. Cuban sandwiches are amazing. I totally agree. I love Cuban sandwiches. Love me a good Cubano or a medianoche. Oh, it's so good stuff. And then Inca Cola. You got to have an Inca Cola with it. If you've never had Inca Cola before, you got to have an Inca Cola. I don't know if that's just an LA thing, having grown up here and knock on where white people go for stuff, because why would you do that? Yeah, it's good stuff. So, yeah, I'm furniture. I try to get Cuban stuff delivered when I'm not near. Porto's is great in the LA area. Yep, that's exactly who I'm talking about, Porto's. So, Porto's is amazing. So, family owned and operated. And, yeah, just everything you could think of. The cheese and guava strudels. Oh. Potato balls. And their Cubano sandwich. And they have banana chips too. So they make like long cut strips of bananas into chips, and it's delicious. It's not bad for you because it's bananas. So, yeah, try an Inca Cola. I highly recommend it in Advisable Science. It's an interesting flavor, but it is delicious, and I love it. So, yeah. Yeah, it'd be cool. Stevie, you're on year 2 of it. Yeah, I'm thinking with how slow my recovery has been, I might be out for 2022 as well, which is fine because if something happens in early 2022, I might have to be out to begin with anyhow. Something that I cannot talk about, which is probably one of the few things that I cannot talk about yet. So. Although we'll see also as well. May not be able to talk about it ever. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, on furniture. Yeah, if you want to work. If I didn't have the patience, I wouldn't be working in aerospace. Yeah. It's very true. So especially if your project is first name James, last name Webb Space Telescope. So I feel really like it better work. I feel so bad for that team if it doesn't work. Anyways, that's enough of talking about James Webb. I'm thick of it. So oh. Ow. Ow. That hurt. That hurt a bit. In case you wanted to know what happens, what can make your back hurt when you have 2 bulged discs? Coughing will do it. Sneezing is maybe one of the most painful things that you can imagine. Oh my God. Luckily, I sneeze maybe 2 to 3 times a month. So thankfully I'm not my mom who sneezes 40 to 50 times a day, and that's just how her body operates. Oh no, I got ouch. Ow. I'm going to try not to cry on camera. Ow. Because that hurt a lot. So I haven't hurt my back coughing. It's that my back, because it's impinging on a nerve and pressing that nerve, it's like keeping that nerve on at all times. And that nerve is like, ouch. So anytime I move, it hits that nerve a little bit more. And it makes it go ouchies. So. Hey, Jared. Elgvin. Good morning from Norway. Good morning to you in Norway. Back pain there too. I hope your back pain goes away soon. Going to go for a morning walk soon. Nice. Out in Norway. What's the temperature like there, Jared? So, because I'm in a jacket here, and let me go see. I want to get a drink anyhow to help with my coughing. So it is now down to 58 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 14.5 degrees Celsius. And that's cold for me. I'm wearing a jacket. I'm actually cold. But also I prefer being cold over hot. Yeah, just want to say, oh my God. Jared's checking. Other Jared, or Norway Jared, is checking. Norway Jared, your Instagram pictures of your climbs and your adventures are amazing, and I love it. And I would love to come visit Norway because it's a beautiful country. What's the coldest I've ever been in? Coldest I've ever been in is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that was roughly -6. So, which I think is what you're at. So that's the coldest I've ever been in. I actually did not see snow. Well, I did. Here in Los Angeles, we've got the San Gabriel Mountains, which I've gone up some of those. Like Mount Wilson is 5,700 feet. Mount Baden-Powell is 9,000. Mount San Antonio is just a hair over 10,000 feet. Those are tall enough that we see snow. So when it rains this week, the snow level will drop enough that it'll snow there, and I'll actually be able to look out my window and see snow. And it's gorgeous. Doesn't snow down here, of course. Well, it has actually. I think in the 1940s it snowed one night in Los Angeles, something like that. There's been a couple instances of thunderstorms parking themselves over LA and dumping hail so that it looks like snow, but that's not quite how it works in my eyes. So I actually did not experience snow until I was 26 years old. So I was 26 when I was going with the thermometer in the kitchen agrees with Google for a change. Both say -9 Celsius. Yeehaw. And you're like, I'm going to go for a walk. It's 15 degrees Fahrenheit now. That's good stuff. That's nice. Oh, yeah. We're talking about that. Thanks, Inadvisable Science. I'm working on it. So I'm just trying to get through this as best I can with as few painkillers as I can. I really don't take painkillers because, as I learned in high school, in my freshman year running track and field, when you take painkillers, you don't feel the pain, which means that if you have a problem, you can hurt your problem even more. So that's why I will typically, my doctor will write me a prescription for painkillers, and I will never go fulfill it because I don't want painkillers. I did, however, get painkillers. So back in 2018, I had a pretty big surgery, which removed my tonsils, removed my adenoids, which if you didn't know, you have tonsils in your sinuses called adenoids. Usually when you get older, your adenoids get smaller. Mine didn't get that memo, so my right adenoid was was almost taking up the entirety of my sinus. Cool beans. And then I also had a myringotomy on my right eardrum here, and that's where they put a small perforation in your eardrum and then a grommet into it to hold it open to allow the fluid to drain out. And I had that done because I have hearing problems in my right ear, and they thought that would solve it. Turns out, doesn't. It didn't solve my issues. And when I asked them, what can we do now? They said, well, nothing that's not going to cause more issues. And I was like, oh, great. So now I'm like 60% of my hearing in my right ear. So good times. So in case you ever wonder why I'll often talk to people with them on my left, it's because I can actually hear out of my left ear. My right ear, it's a little difficult for me to hear. That's also why I don't like calling on the phone. I prefer to text because I can read the text. If I call you on a phone, I really can't hear you all that well. And phones are garbage to begin with. So, but yeah, that I got liquid painkillers for it because I knew that was definitely going to be something that I needed painkillers for. And it was. I'm glad I did. And if you ever do have to get your tonsils removed, ask for liquid painkillers. That will be the difference maker. Trust me. So I took it, every 8 hours is prescribed, even if I had to wake up in the middle of the night to take it. And man, I only woke up once in pain that I would say was like 5 out of 10 pain. And then I just went, and then 15 minutes later, gone, back to sleep. So that was really nice. I got to take 2 weeks off from work to recover from that surgery. And it didn't work. But I will tell you something. I've had a lot less head colds. And then also removing my tonsils has done wonders for something that I really shouldn't say on air, but I'll just say, you know, they're at the back of your mouth. So, and I'll just leave it at that. Your imagination can come up with whatever you think about that. Yeah, Julie, you just watched a video about the eardrum grommet a couple days ago. Yeah, it's really cool. I actually was able to get my grommet and keep it, and I have it in a little container in there. So, because it just falls out at some point someday, like 3 to 9 months afterwards. Mine took about 8 months to fall out. So of course I get the one way down the line. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The hottest temperatures I've ever been in, though, I have been in 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And that was out when we were launching rockets at that, so. Loopy, so it's like getting a rib removed, as we used to say in middle school. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Not on that front, but yes. One day I'll have the viewership where I can say it and not give a shit. So, for now, as I'm trying to get on YouTube's good side, I'm not. So, 4,000 hours watched and 1,000 subscribers. So, let's make it happen, people. Let's make it happen, people. Yeah. But yeah. So, good stuff. You are helping, Loopy. That is very, very true. I'm going to throw that up there just to confirm that. Confirmed. Loopy is helping. Jared, I think it's hilarious that it's -9 Celsius. God, what is that? It's 16 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and you're like, I'm just going to go for a walk. I love that. Like right now, it's, what did I say? What was it? How many degrees Celsius was it? You think I'd know by now. 14.5 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, so yeah, good stuff. Oh, no, not okay, that was okay. Second one hurt a little bit, so. Get a little coffee because it's a little cold out here. Getting that throat itch. Also, I don't know if anybody knows this. It's hard to talk. It's hard to talk for a long period of time, in case anybody wanted to know. So, Julie, how about if we send you questions before your Ask Me Almost Anythings? You choose from them. Maybe, I mean, if you want to, you sure can. I think half of the fun of these Ask Me Almost Anythings is interacting with you folks and just knowing that I'm talking with you. You know, like, this is pretty cool. I'm just doing this. I'm in my garage right now. We're just hanging out as we do. And, you know, I just think that's the cool accessibility of it all, is the, you know, you've got the chance, I guess. I don't know. But I know most people aren't going to be doing Ask Me Almost Anythings, and I feel like that is something that should set me apart from a whole bunch of other YouTube people, which is that I'm absolutely willing to get in front of the shooting gallery and be vulnerable. So yeah. Really good question there, Loopy. Oh, question. I'm going to the fridge. Do you want anything? Yes. Can you get me some crackers? Some fancy crackers, some fancy cheese and some fancy mustard. And I would really like a fancy crackers, fancy cheese, fancy mustard snack right now. Oh my God, Jared. When I was in the Army, I experienced the biggest temperature change in the shortest time. It was minus 45 Celsius when we lined up for the morning inspection. 2 hours later, it was plus 5. Oh my God. I would pass away. Morning inspection outside. Hold on. Do I even want to know what that is in Fahrenheit? Oh my God. Oh. Minus 49 Fahrenheit. Oh my God. Yeah, plus 5 must have felt fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's wild. So. Oh, this is one I can definitely throw on it. Question: your favorite artists, art-wise? Big fan of Barnett Newman and Mark Rothko. I love their. Let me see if I could find some photos of what they got. There you go. Yeah, Barnett Newman is one of my favorites. He does paintings. Well, he did. He's dead now. He does paintings that look like this. Very cool. Very modernist. Very clean. Cool. Very cool use of lines and color in his art. See if I can find some more of his works. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. I just find his work fascinating because you can look at it and you can just get these interesting feelings from it. So here's some more Barnett Newman for you there. So some really cool stuff. And then Mark Rothko, kind of the same deal with it there. So very cool stuff. I'm a big fan of people who use color and clean lines and things like that. So those are my favorite painters, at least. You know, I'd also throw Rembrandt in there. I mean, who wouldn't throw Rembrandt in there, right? With that. And is it Monet who did the water lilies one? I can't remember. Let me Google it. Yes. It is. So I got to go to New York like almost 10 years ago for a furry convention where I was actually a guest of honor, if you can believe it. And I had them fly me out a day early. They were like, oh yeah, we can put you up at the hotel. Don't worry about it. We'll put you up a day early. It's no big. So I totally had them fly me out a day early just to basically ditch them for the next day, the day after I got in, to go to New York City proper. So I got them to make that happen for me. And Yeah, as we went to New York, we went to the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, there, and I got to see reflections of clouds on the water lily pond, which is absolutely astounding because it is huge. And I don't think you realize how big it is until you actually go and look at it. It's like the space shuttle. You actually don't know how big the space shuttle is until you go look at the space shuttle. So yeah, Monet would definitely be another one that I would throw on there. So. Is that the Polish flag? No, it's a little more than that. So, oh man. But also photography. Big fan of photography. Ansel Adams, obviously, because I've been to places that Ansel Adams has been, and I've actually taken photos from the same spots that Ansel Adams was standing at. Let me see if I can find it. So, Ansel Adams has a photo of, I believe it's Precipice Lake? I can't remember. Yes. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Ansel Adams did a photo called Frozen Lake and Cliffs. And he was correct. It is a frozen lake and there are cliffs around it. Right? So, Ansel was not BSing. Ansel was true. Right? Okay, check this out. Right? Okay, this is Ansel Adams' photo of Precipice Lake. And I really like Ansel Adams because I'm a big photography fan, right? Amazing, right? Okay. It was equally amazing that I got to stand exactly where he took that photo at. And I'm thinking to myself, he took a big format camera here with gear to survive, first of all. Holy smokes, right? Like, geez. So, which, by the way, I just want to say, from that area up there, up top, probably one of the most gorgeous sights I have ever looked at. Oh, come on, don't do that to me. Look at this. Just, that's why I want to go back out in the mountains, you know? Because, like, look at that. Look at that. Oh, I miss it. Really miss it. So, it's just unbelievable, the kind of environment that we were in. Like, you don't really understand it. Like, look at this. I look like I'm on some kind of, like, planet from Star Trek. Like a Alpine planet or something, right? Like, I was there. Holy smokes. I lived that, man. I was there. It's pretty nuts. Definitely my favorite day. Or one of my favorite days. It was just all this amazing stuff. These amazing views. Oh, for fuck's sake. Just, gosh, right? I mean, you can't walk through something like that and not be a changed person. So, entirely changed. So that's what the High Sierra Trail did to me. The person who started that trail was not the person who finished that trail. I'm a completely different Jared from that day. So it's wild. It changes everything. Yeah, Jared is climbing the mountain. But why is he climbing the mountain? I always like to post that. I made a Photoshop of that with that. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, there's some cool stuff. Yeah, see, that's why I do mountaineering, because it's very pretty. So, ooh, look at that. That's a nice one. Norway, Jared. I like that. Monet did a nice bridge. That's great. Beautiful. Love stuff like that. Yeah, if you can ever climb a mountain, I highly recommend it. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. So. All right. Well, coming up on 3 hours. I definitely don't think I'm going to do 5 hours like we did the other day, simply because that was nice that I could hand it off to other people with Blake and Mark here, but they're not here. So, yeah. Oh, good morning, Ann. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope you're warm this morning. Oh, yeah. It's good stuff. So every time I can remember being at the summit of Mount Washington, it's been fogged out at the top. Yeah, it happens. I guess should I just pull up my Mount Whitney pics? I feel like I should just pull up my Mount Whitney pics. I don't want to flex on you guys, but what's the top of Mount Whitney? So here's let's kind of show you guys. Okay, so here's where you camp at. So I went up Whitney from the west side. Most people go up Whitney from the east side. So they start at Whitney Portal, which is at like 8,000 feet. And then they go up to, what's the name? Outpost Camp at either at 10,000 feet or Trail Camp up at 12,000 feet. And then they will go up the 99 switchbacks, which I did count them. There are 99 of them. And then they go from Trail Crest at 13,000 feet onto the actual Whitney Summit Trail up to 14,505 feet. You do 1,500 feet over 2 miles at altitude, and it's nuts. It's beautiful. But if you go up from the west, you start at about 10,500, 10,700, depending upon where you camp out at this place called Guitar Lake. And it is amazing. And they call it Guitar Lake because it really does look like a guitar. So when I camped out, we camped out like in this spot of Guitar Lake right there, right? So, and it was way less than ideal for what we did. I'm telling you, it was not good. Got maybe like 3.5 hours of sleep that night, as I just could not stop thinking about the fact that I'm about to go do something I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid. I'm literally going to go do the thing, one of the things I've always wanted to do in my life. So there's another great view. Once you get into the Whitney zone, it becomes alpine. So there's really no other way to describe it. So nothing but rocks, snow, water, granite. That's it. Saw a little bit of snow. Looked like California. I thought that was funny. Let's see. Yeah, see? There's Guitar Lake. That's where you start your morning. That's where we started our morning at. And now I'm like 3,000 feet up above that. In absolute euphoria That's really the only way I could describe what it was like from Trail Crest to the summit of Whitney. Euphoria. I was just euphoric all the way, which is actually one of the signs of altitude sickness. So, whoopsies. But yeah, this is what the trail looks like, which there is a trail there, I assure you. But yeah, basically broken granite all the way up to the summit with that. So, pretty amazing. There's these things called the needles, which are like these spires that you can look through, and they'll give you amazing views to the east down into the Owens Valley there, which is 10,000 feet below the summit of Whitney. So, like, yowza, right? That's far down. Also, some beautiful flowers growing on the side of Mount Whitney on the way up, so not entirely devoid of life. Also, there are definitely birds up there that will want to eat your food. So once again, going up Whitney. Again, there is a trail there. You just, you do your best. You're trying to get to the summit, which is on that very gentle slope near the middle there, right? Very gentle slope. And then finally you get close enough and you can actually see the summit of Mount Whitney. Whoa! And then snow. You get to traverse snow on a slope at like 14,000 feet when you're not really thinking straight. And so that was fun. But basically, you just try to find where people have stepped before and step there. You know that snow's been compressed. So you can work with it. And then finally, you see the shack at the top of Mount Whitney where they actually did solar observations back in the early 1900s because it was high up there. It was above the altitude on there, right? So pretty cool with that. That off right there. Then you find yourself at the top, and you gotta get that selfie with the thing that says you made it to the top, right? With my jacket here. So my jacket was amazing for the trip, by the way. Thank you, Alpha Industries. And somebody had drawn this on the metal piece that would hold the what do you call it? The logbook where you write down your name. And I wrote down my name in the logbook. So, because I was there. So, figured I needed to. Right. And, yeah. Sorry, I'm just having nostalgic moments for something I hope I will experience again someday. But yeah, once you've been to the top, then it's time to go down, and maybe you just take one look back and say to yourself, when am I gonna be back here? Hopefully soon. I'm sure absolutely nothing in 2020 is gonna stop me from getting up here. Oh man, that was great. I'm trying to find something here. Yeah, it took me a little while to get down, so I had to deal with sunset coming down the switchbacks. But that's trail camp. You don't want to get your water from that lake right there because there's a bunch of poo-poo in the area because humans were there. So we poo-poo everywhere. So you have to go to a lake on the other side, this way. That's where you get your water at. So, yeah. This was my view at breakfast in the tent. I took breakfast in the tent that morning just to kind of do with that? Look at that. Like, why did I leave that, you know? Like, I woke up that, I did think that at that point. I was like, why am I leaving this? Like, can I just stay here for, like, ever? But no, gotta come home. And I gotta say, if you're ever up near Whitney Portal, go to the Whitney Portal store. After 9 days of mostly freeze-dried food. Now, mind you, very good food for what it is. This is what I got at the Whitney Portal store as soon as I got there. This in a 3 Diet Cokes and a beer. And oh my God, this was maybe the best tasting burger I've ever had in my life. And it really wasn't just because of the fact that I hadn't had real food for 9 days. But maybe it was. I don't know. I'm going to have to... Guess I should go back and find out. But yeah, it was an experience. And then we went down into Lone Pine, which is the little city there, which is where you go to access Whitney Portal. And it's a very small city because, for example, their McDonald's closes at 8 p.m. So that blew my mind because I didn't know a McDonald's could actually close. But it did. And they closed it right as we were walking up. And that sucked. And then we said, oh, there's a Carl's Jr. at the end of the town. If we leave now, we should be able to walk toward it before it closes. And it didn't. No, they didn't open. But like a shining light, like a beacon in the dark of the evil world around us, lo and behold, taco truck. Oh my God, taco truck. Taco truck. The only taco truck probably within 100-mile radius. Oh my God. I got al pastor, which if you've never had al pastor before, you should get al pastor. Have 4 of them, 2 Mexicokes and a tangerine jarritos. And oh my God, it was amazing. It was an amazing meal that night. So then the next morning, I went to this very cool restaurant that I've actually been to before on some of my desert adventures while I was up in that area. Called, oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of it? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it because I always stop at this place when I'm there. What in the heck? Why did I forget the name of it? The Alabama Hills Cafe and Bakery. And it's good. It's tasty. I was once there when Quentin Tarantino was eating there behind us. I didn't know it was him until he got up and left. And I went, oh, it's Quentin Tarantino. Since we were talking about feet earlier. This is what I had for breakfast. Chicken fried steak, eggs, hash brown, biscuits and gravy, jalapeno cheese toast. Not bread, toast, because they make it there. With a big fat chocolate shake. I swear to God. Like, as soon as we were done with that trip, my body was just like, calories. Please, calories. Because that night I also proceeded, because I got home with my partner, and I proceeded to have a 4x4, an In-N-Out 4x4 with a chocolate shake, the biggest drink they have, and animal style fries. I literally probably consumed, like, I'm guessing maybe 15,000 calories in those 2 days. I still didn't feel, I still felt super hungry. Because I mean, that is what you're doing. So when you're out backpacking, especially at altitude with equipment and things like that, is you are basically burning your body. So yeah, God, yeah, I'm hungry again too. Don't worry, inadvisable science. I'm hungry as well. Yeah, I actually was still hungry at the end of that day. I was out of control. Uh-oh, there's the first yawn of the night. I'm really tired. It's starting to hit me. That was way more than 15,000 calories. Yeah, I gotta say, that was. All right, Jared. Norway Jared. Good to see you. Have a good walk. Enjoy it in the cold. Enjoy it. And inadvisable science, yeah, 4x4 is the best in and out burger. You're correct. If you can stomach it. I can't eat it all the time. But, you know, I try whenever I can. So, whenever I have the room for it, really can't do that so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely more than 15,000 calories, I think. Actually, I want in and out now. Damn it. Look at what I've done to myself. Can't believe I did this. In front of all of you as well. Oh. Oh. So I just want to make sure that everybody did see on my channel that I do have that 12-hour stream for New Year's Eve up and in the waiting. So, and it's all your fault because you all wanted it. So I'm just giving you exactly what you wanted. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Did you ever see any little, I believe it's pikas out of altitude. Pikas or pikas? I can't remember which one it is. I think it's pikas because of Pikachu, named after the noise it made. But yes, we actually did. We saw quite a few up there. And yeah, you got to be careful. Them and marmots, which I would describe marmots as squirrels without tails and fat. Because they're absolute units. And you have the most dangerous animal out there because they will chew through your pack to get to anything. So like at Trail Crest, when you put your pack down, you have to, anything that has a scent, you have to put it in your day pack and take it up to the summit of Mount Whitney with you. So yeah, they're evil. I don't like them. I had a stare down with one at White Mountain Peak, and we were gonna throw hands, but my friend Phil, trail name Blackbird, grabbed me and was like, "Nah, man, it's not worth it. It's not worth it." He's holding me back. I was like, "Come on, man. Like, come on, you marmot. Let's go." So, yeah, that's where I'm at now in tonight in terms of where I'm at. Oh yeah, they'll eat your clothes. Yeah, that's not just marmots that you have to worry about. Deer will come over and eat your clothes if you've got, because of the salt. Basically, any animal will try to eat just about anything that you have. Also, I've heard marmots will chew up the electrical wiring on cars. I've never seen that confirmed, even recently, but I've heard of it happening anecdotally. So, and with as much a bastard as marmots are, I can believe it. So they're evil. I don't like them. And they don't like me, which is good. Because we just stay away from each other. That's the way it should be. Oh, Julie, I think I'm beginning to feel that with you, which is maybe we should all call it a night and go eat something. Yeah, I'm sort of feeling it. So I got up and watched the Formula One race today, which I don't want to talk about, actually, because I'm really tired now. And man, that Formula One race was something else today. It was, I'll just say Max Verstappen really needs to up his driving game in terms of being at the level that he's supposed to be at. So, not that Lewis Hamilton is a non-contributor to any incidences that may have occurred today, but it's really difficult for me to look at someone who's going into a turn, trying to block their opponent, and then accidentally sliding their car, and me looking at them and saying, okay, that's an isolated incident. I won't worry about it. And then, easing up off and pushing the brakes hard enough that he actually caused Hamilton to hit him. And then the way he gave the position back as well today. Both of those. If it had just been one thing, okay, maybe I would have not thought too much about it, but it was multiple things today with Max. So someone needs to reel him in and get his head on his shoulders as realistically as it needs to be. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's all I have to say about that. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. I'm cold and hungry, and I want to go to sleep and get some rest. Sounds good to me. And I'm also going to be doing space news solo this week, so I've got to go look at all the SpaceX stuff, which I'm just thrilled about that. So, but I'll make it happen. So, all right, everybody, have a delightful evening. I do not know when I'm going to be doing another Ask Me Almost Anything. The stream for New Year's Eve is sort of will be like an Ask Me Almost Anything, but it's mostly going to be just kind of hanging out and celebrating the end of this year, saying good riddance to it, and ringing in 2022 with a little bit more pizzazz and happiness, hopefully. So, good night, everybody, and stay tuned for space news in just a few days, something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So, all right, everybody. Bye-bye. And y'all have a good one.